Football can hopefully be a force for good for those suffering from this devastating illness, and if you are affected by any of the issues raised by
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Commentary Hub, the home of alternative commentary, and with association with JB Sports today and JDAC Football, and with our official sponsors, Melon. Welcome aboard for an alternative commentary for today's game between Manchester City and Leicester City. The first trophy on the line today, which is going to be the Charity Shield. It's the first official game of the season. Your host, John Kane, will be joining me later on, JB, for the match commentary throughout the two halves and even possibility of going to penalties. We start today with the lineups for both teams. Leicester City, Schmeichel in goal, Pereira, Amarati, Sancho and Bertrand, the new arrival from Southampton. He's on the left back. For in midfield, and DD, Tillemans, Perez, James Maddison and Harvey Barnes, and up front is the usual Jamie Vardy. As for Manchester City, well, of course, there's been quite a lot of talk of Manchester City lately, and Stefan in goal, Cancelo, Diaz, Ake and Mendy in defence. Cole Palmer, the young 19-year-old who spent last season with Man City under 23 and he scored 13 goals. And, of course, Fernandinho and Gundogan in midfield. And up front, Mahrez, Torres and Odozie. And Odozie, 18-year-old, who has spent last season with the under-18 for Manchester City and scoring 2 goals. As far as the subs is concerned, well, there's quite a lot of subs in both teams. Albrighton, Benkovic, Chowdhury, Daka, the new arrival at Leicester City, come from Salzburg, the 23-year-old, who scored 27 goals last season in the Austrian League. Dewsbury Hall, who was on loan at Luton. Iheanacho, of course, the usual name. Samare, who's actually been who's a 22-year-old midfielder who has arrived from Lille. And, of course, Darren Ward. There's been quite a lot of talk lately regarding Manchester City, especially in the last week with Harry Kane, and we could have probably seen Harry Kane playing in the shirts of Manchester City in today's game, or maybe he will move to Tottenham to Manchester City and be ready for first game of the Premier League, and that will be against Tottenham. Or will Harry Kane be and stay at Tottenham? I will speak to JB shortly when he arrives, comes and join us in the studio shortly. And we'll discuss that quickly, because there's been quite a lot of mess really for Tottenham and Harry Kane, and hasn't been really professional in some kind of ways. But today's game, of course, it sees Jack Grealish being on the sub bench. Of course, he cost Manchester City £100 million. So if Man City happy to pay £100 million for Jack Grealish, I'm assuming that Daniel Levy will be asking for more for his captain, or the England captain, Harry Kane. We'll wait and see what happens. Of course, today's game, like we said, is coming through the association of JDAC Football and JB Sports, with our official sponsors for this season, which is Melon. I'm here today from lovely Spain. It's been hot. It's been about 35, 36 degrees here in Hardy's Bar, just outside Torrevieja in Spain. And speaking to some relatives back in London, they said there's been quite a lot of flooding, so please be careful wherever you are. And of course, always be careful regarding the COVID, which is an ongoing issue. The pandemic has been happening over a year ago now, so we wish everyone to be safe, and for anyone who's actually suffering, we wish them to be well very soon. I think JB might be with us. JB, good afternoon, JB. No, I don't think he's with us just yet. He will. I thought he might be with us, but we'll hopefully get back with him in a minute or so, just to have a few chat with him regarding the situation at Manchester City and of course Leicester. Whoever wins today's game, it only can boost the mental side of the team and give them a good boost for the start of the Premier League, which is next week, apologies. And of course, later on after this as well, we've got Sheffield United versus Birmingham, which will be with Liam Brusby. I'll be presenting that as well, but he's your commentator for tonight's game. And we start as well the Premier League next week. We've got Spurs versus Manchester City, and that will be with your host, John Kane. And of course, we've got quite a lot of more games lined up. Please check our Commentary Hub page or go to our website, commentaryhub.com, for more information on any games available. Just waiting for JB. JB, are you there? No, he's still not there with us yet. We'll wait for JB for a few minutes. Of course, like we said, Jack Grealish is starting on the bench today. It's been a massive coup for Manchester City bring him in. Of course, trying to bring Harry Kane in, and Lionel Messi, of course, who left Barcelona, and he's been there since the age of 8, 9, 10 years old, till he's 34, and seems to be heading to Paris Saint-Germain to play for the French side. So we might see quite a lot of attraction towards the French League, League One next season. Messi and Ronaldo always attract quite a lot of coverage from so many channels, and of course we'll be following them both. As it stands, Ronaldo is still at Juve player, and possibility that Lionel Messi will be at PSG. JB, are you with us now? No, I don't think he's with us just yet. But we're still, of course, looking forward for today's game. And it will be a big game, both Manchester City and Leicester City. They're both very, very good sides. And Man City, the last 3 games in the pre-season, they won all of them. They beat Blackpool 4-1, Barnsley 4-0, and Preston 2-0. And as for Leicester, they won once in their pre-season. They beat Villarreal 3-2. They drew with QPR 3-all, and they lost to Wycombe and Burton by a goal to 0. JB, are you with us now? No, he's not with us yet. Of course, we've still got about just on 20 minutes to go for kickoff. So it will be a good game. And of course, JB is a very good commentator. And of course, he's representing JB Sports today. And of course, I'm representing JDAC Football. And of course, please keep in touch with all these associations that we got with the Commentary Hub. We've got quite a few of them. We've got fantastic talent. And of course, if you want to be part of the Commentary Hub, just send us a message to any of our commentators or to the main commentator, Barry Swain, or send a message on the Facebook, Twitter, email, in any way, shape or form, if you would like to be part of the commentary team here at the Commentary Hub. JB, I believe you're with us now. I'm sure he'll be with us in the next few seconds. I do apologise for the delay. And like I said, if you want to be part of the Commentary Hub, please send us a message. We have got quite a lot of few projects coming up this coming season. It's going to be an exciting season for us all. And it's going to be an exciting season for the Premier League here, which is probably going to be our main focus. It attracts more fans from all over the world to listen or watch to their favourite team. If it was Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, the popularity of these teams are huge all over the world. And of course, like I said, we'll be speaking to JB shortly and you're here listening to the Commentary Hub. And of course, the Commentary Hub will be broadcasting live the games throughout Twitter, Facebook, and of course, we've got our new YouTube channel, which is available now to listen to our matches that we're covering throughout this coming season. Going back to the game, of course, there's quite a few youngsters starting for Manchester City. In fact, today we mentioned Cole Palmer, a 19-year-old, and to score 13 goals, even under 23 league, it is quite good. And of course, Idoze, who's only 18, he scored 2 goals for the under 18 last season. Having said that, they've got Scott Carson in goal, Ben Knight, who also played, who's on the sub bench, who also played for under 23, and he scored 5 goals. The young 19-year-old striker, which I'm sure you're going to see quite a few. I mean, there's quite a lot of players who are actually part of the Manchester City setup. But at the end of the day, Pep Guardiola will be looking for some trophy, and it starts from today. And I believe JB is with us now. Good afternoon, JB.
You there? You hear me?
Good afternoon, JB. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon, JB. Glad to have you with us today. And I'll tell you what, it's very, very hot and sunny here in Spain where I am. But I'm sure it's going to be a very hot game as well on the football pitch between the two big sides in Leicester and Manchester City.
Absolutely. I mean, I've just looked at Manchester City's lineup. They're not starting with Grealish, which is fair enough, fair comment. And in fact, when I chose this game about a week ago, I didn't honestly know that I was going to stumble across this transfer saga involving Jack Grealish. So it's been quite a 48 hours for Manchester City. And from a personal point of view, it's great to be back. I've had a good few weeks off rest, and I've been resting up nicely. But it's great to be back. How have you been?
I've been not bad, thank you, JB. Like I said, it's quite sunny here. It's about 35, 36, and I spoke to my sister early on, and to my mum to wish her happy birthday. Apparently, it's been flooding in London, and I did wish everyone to stay safe and well with all this forecast that's coming towards the UK.
I would echo that. I'd echo that, John.
Absolutely. Of course, I've got a few questions for you, JB, before we start. I mean,
fire away.
I mean, being a Spurs fan, it's not going to be easy saying it, but it's all part of facts and figures, isn't it, that we've got in front of us. And over the last week, the issue with Harry Kane, of course, we talk about Harry Kane because it's still linked to Manchester City. And the way it's been dealt with, really, from Kane and from Tottenham itself, has been good, hasn't it? Because Kane didn't turn up to training, and then there's no comments for 2-3 days from him as an England captain and vice captain at Spurs behind Hugo Lloris. And there's nothing from Tottenham and nothing from Manchester City either, with the exception that we heard that they offered £100 million and that is being rejected. However, Kane did make his voice heard only yesterday, which is literally less than 24 hours after Messi becoming available. But now, today, it seems like Messi is heading to PSG. So it's not really professional all round from the Tottenham point of view, isn't it?
It is, but we don't know what's going on. I think one thing we've got to establish at this point, John, the media do whip this up into a real frenzy now. We don't know what the actual truth is. Football clubs these days don't give unprecedented access and all that type of thing. They might keep it close to their chest. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I think that's the first thing we need to make clear. Secondly, if there has been a bidding for Manchester City, I mean, there's a lot of people. Gary Neville said that's not like Harry Kane to go on strike or not refuse to turn up for training. Now, I don't know. We as outsiders of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. For all we know, it could be something or nothing. But on the other hand, it could be that way. But until we know the whole truth, whenever that may be, I don't want to speculate. I don't really want to be drawn into speculations. But what I will say is that if Harry Kane, if he's proven that he hasn't turned up for training, and that does surprise me because there's no. I mean, as you say, England captain and everything else, and he's one of the more professional strikers that we've got in this country at the moment. It would amaze me to the extent that that's not Harry Kane. That's not the sort of thing, unless he is trying to. Well, we don't know, but if he is doing this to push for a move to Manchester City, then I mean, no one wants to stand in the way. I mean, you look at contrast to Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish got on with the football, didn't he? He didn't say anything. You know, his club did all the talking for him, and you know there was the difference is really though, as regards Grealish as compared to Kane, that Villa did put £100 million clause which City met. You know, if he is unhappy, why keep an unhappy player? But as I say, John, we can't be too certain, can we? We can't. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, when that sort of things happen, it does leave quite a lot of speculations with the fans, doesn't it? And it's not easy on the fans from any side, really, when you hear about your star player not turning up to the ground. And of course, the rumours comes out, good or bad rumours. And especially, it's only days after that, Heung-min Son signed an extension, hasn't he, signed a new contract with Spurs. And it does leave Spurs fans a bit puzzled. And most of the Spurs fans I spoke to, they've all been very sort of puzzled and amazed rather than actually being cruel into Harry Kane. There's a few, of course. But in general terms, there have been like support for Harry Kane. It's like this is not him. He doesn't. It's from what we've seen with him, Spurs and in England over the last 10 years or so. This is not his attitude. This is not the way of going on things about it. And like you said, JB, I mean, in the day, the truth will come out eventually in the next couple of days, and that will put things to bed, wouldn't it? But going back to today's game, we are expecting, of course, to see probably Jack Grealish coming on possibly in the second half. But it's been a good move for Manchester City. Jack Grealish has always been compared to people like Messi and all that in a smaller scale, just a bit smaller scale to Messi and Ronaldo and what have you. But he's a very, very talented player. Now, 100 million, I don't know if I can justify 100 million, especially in the times that we are in with the pandemic and everything else. But of course, City can afford it and paid it, and Villa accepted it. But on that subject, I mean, is it really justifiable for that 100 million from your point of view? It's a hard question, isn't it?
It is a tough question. I mean, City must have confidence in the lad to pay that kind of money. They're neither going to be brave or they're going to be foolish from the neck up. That's all I'll say. But what I will say is, I honestly think he's a talented player. We saw it when we came on during the Euros. We saw glimpses of what he could do. Now he was comfortable at Aston Villa because he was the big fish in the small pond there. No disrespect to Aston Villa. They are still a big club in terms of name and stature, but as regards financial terms, they can't compete with the Manchester Cities of the world. But the pressure will be on him. That's a given. I'm not sure a player is worth that amount of money. I mean, it was only about 30 years ago that Spurs bought Paul Gascoigne for £2.8 million.
And people was today's rate, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is, but people in those days were saying, "Oh, that's a heck of a lot of pressure." Absolutely. You know. So 100 million. I think fair play. Villa have got a good price for him. They'll be able to now dip into the market and do what Leicester have been doing and just replace him the best they can. But the pressure, people are saying to me, most City fans are saying to me, "Oh, we've got the league sewn up and that." I'm not so sure because the pressure's going to be on Pep more than ever before, and if the truth comes out that he does go to Man City, Harry Kane, the pressure will be on Pep immensely as it's never been before. And I think, we look at the City team. There's a lot of young lads in there like Palmer and Eze and one or two others, but I look at Manchester City and I think they might. I don't know if they'll win the league because I know they're spending big money, but when you spend big money, John. This is what the average Joe in the street doesn't get. You can spend all the money you want, and you can get the players in you want, but if it doesn't fit into the style of play or he doesn't fit into the club's ethos, then you're going nowhere. So I think actually the pressure will be more on Manchester City than the challenges, than your Man United and your Liverpools. That's why I backed Liverpool to win the league this season and our predictions thing. Of course, we'll hear more about that on the podcast on Thursday, but I think I think that the pressure will be on Manchester City. I mean, Grealish is a good, talented player, but how he will do in a star-studded Manchester City side, that remains to be seen. But the fee is, I think, far too much to pay.
No, absolutely. I agree with you on that. And of course, like I mentioned, he is on the bench today, Jack Grealish. However, um, we heard Guardiola mentioning yesterday regarding the injuries for Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden, and there's no time scale at the moment on when both will be back to the Manchester City squad. So probably Grealish has come into the right time, but it's still a big blow for Man City losing two fantastic, talented players who sustained their injuries through the Euros.
Yeah, well, we know about the De Bruyne one, of course. I mean, that looked an horrendous injury when you looked at it during the match. It was against Italy, I believe. And it was an horrendous injury. It was a poor injury. So I think it'll be a good couple of months before he can even get back training again. I think, to be honest with you, I think they'll get Foden back a bit more quicker. I think that's probably a given, but it is a bit of a blow. I mean, that's why they've got a threadbare squad at the moment. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's come at the right time, Grealish is signing. But then again, when them two come back, where's Grealish going to fit into the system? And I think that's what we've got to look at. The pressure's on City because they won the league by some 12 points last season. There's no doubt about it. But today, I mean, there's nothing really on this game, really, other than winning the Shield, you know. But I think this is an opportunity. Brendan Rodgers will look at that 4-3-3 today, and he'll think, he'll be licking his lips there, because I think they could give City a game and possibly win this game after 90 minutes. You look at the two sides on paper, the two lineups on paper, and I would say, even with the depleted squad that City have got, I would still say Leicester's is still a little bit more of the stronger side than Manchester City's is. And that's not me being unreasonable to Manchester City. It's just a fact, looking at the two teams on paper. But as we've said, John, football isn't one on paper, it's one on the football field.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you on that. And as you mentioned, Leicester, we will talk about the Leicester squad and the Leicester formation today. I mean, Leicester, they had Ryan Bertrand coming into their squad, coming from Southampton, which is the second Southampton player to leave this summer after Danny Ings, him going to Aston Villa, which of course I did tip. Of course, we'll talk about it on Thursday on the podcast, like you mentioned. But I did tip Southampton with the way things going that they might be one of the teams that might be relegated, sadly, from the Premier League. But Leicester, today's game is probably the perfect start, isn't it, for them? Because they blew their game against Spurs in the last game of the season, and they blew that fourth place, which was so important for them, considering that Chelsea also lost to Villa. So today's game will be a good start for them for the season, just to try to boost their confidence, the players up after that disappointment of the last game from last season.
Yeah, but, you say it was a disappointment, but, if you'd have asked any Leicester fan on the street this time last year, would you have taken fifth place and the FA Cup? I think a lot of Leicester fans would have bitten your hand off, probably bitten both your hands off for that. So I don't think we can be too critical about that. The team's just about to come out the tunnel. But just quickly on Leicester, they've lost Wesley Fofana, who sustained a very unfortunate leg break in a friendly match during midweek, and we should actually wish Fofana the best of health, and hopefully he'll make as speedy a recovery as he can and retain and get back into football very soon. But no, I think Leicester, I think if they take fifth place again, win one of the cups, that would be marvellous. I think it's going to be hard for them to even break into the top four. Chelsea will be a lot better. Liverpool, they'll be there or thereabouts. United have spent a bit. So it's very hard to gauge. But I think Leicester could get into the Europa again next year. They've got the Europa this year. That could also have a crucial factor on things, and I think that's probably why they finished fifth. They just couldn't keep up the gallop, and of course they had that FA Cup run which they won. So it's I think Leicester will be there or thereabouts. But as far as breaking into the top four is concerned, I don't think they've got a chance. But never say never, John.
No, absolutely. I'll give myself 30 seconds before I hand it over to you, JB. Just to remind our viewers, you are listening to the Commentary Hub with association today with JB Sports and JDAC Football, and of course with all other partners throughout the Commentary Hub. And this is, of course, with our sponsors, Melon, who are our sponsors for this coming season. And JB, I'll pass it all over to you now. and we'll come back to you again in the halftime. JB.
Thank you, John, and a very good evening to everybody here at Wembley Stadium as both Leicester and Manchester City. This is great to see both teams coming out of the tunnel side by side, not one after the other, as we saw countless times throughout the last 18 months. Supporters are there as well. There's a good 40, 50,000 inside Wembley today. The Leicester fans showing their flags. They won the FA Cup here 2.5 months ago. Who can ever forget that Yuri Tillemans goal? Was an absolute pleasure to watch, to commentate on that for JB Sports at the time. We were independent in those days. We're not these days. Our first match of a regular season game on JB Sports in association with the Commentary Hub and JDAX Football as well. But the teams are out now, and before the action and all that important team news, or the reminder of the team news, let's bring you now the national anthems. I think we're going to bring, is it the national anthems, or are they going to do the presentations first? Yes, we're going to do the presentations. There's a representative from McDonald's. No royal representation there. No Prince William. No Duke of Cambridge today. But there is an FA rep there, and of course there's McDonald's sponsor the Community Shield. This actually, the gate receipts you get from the Community Shield, which in fact is the 99th in all. Was first won in 1908 by Manchester United after a replay. Both games actually took place at Stamford Bridge. But all the gate receipts and all the money that's made from this one match today goes to the various footballing communities and charities across the country. As the representative Sheikh Pep Guardiola's, and very well, he's not your average manager. He's even for a Wembley occasion, he's there. T-shirt, jeans. Brendan Rodgers very smart in his suit and tie and everything else. Kasper Schmeichel there, going through the line there. But the Community Shield, it is the first competitive game of the season, although there has been a full EFL programme throughout, and John Kane will keep you up to date with that throughout the evening. We do have another live match that's up at Sheffield later on between Sheffield United and Birmingham City in the Championship. So this is the first really of a double header this evening. So let me pause for a few moments while we bring you the national anthem. And Echoes is the people that are performing the national anthem. Well, there we are. This is it now. It's all in the next 90 minutes or so. The 99th Community Shield. So let's check on the two teams. Manchester City play a 4. We'll start with Leicester City. We play a 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, 1. We'll play essentially a 3-4-1-2 formation. So it's Kasper Schmeichel, the heroic Kasper Schmeichel, who's played 2 heroic games at the stadium so far this calendar year. The FA Cup win, and of course that gallant display he put up in that heroic defeat to England, playing for Denmark just 4 weeks ago. He starts in goal. Then it's a back 3 today of Wilfred Ndidi, Şahinshu the Turk, and Daniel Amati. And then a 4-man midfield with Ricardo Pereira on the right, James Maddison and Yuri Tillemans, who scored that magnificent winner in the FA Cup final some 2.5 months ago. And Ryan Bertrand will play on the right. He's a new signing, as John Kane quite rightly pointed out, from Southampton. Harvey Barnes will play in just behind the 2 strikers. He'll play as an attacking midfielder, sort of a number 10 role, if you like, in behind the 2 strikers, which today are Jose Perez and Jamie Vardy. On the bench for Leicester, Ward or Brighton, Kitchi Iheanacho, Benkovic, Chowdhury, Dewsbury Hall, Daka, Thomas and Somer. Manchester City weakened, of course, by injuries, especially the key players like Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden, who got injured, of course, during the recent European Championships. They start with Stefan in goal, a back four, Cancelo, Diaz, Ake and Mendes, and no place for John Stones, who isn't in the 18. Three in midfield with Gundogan, Fernandinho and young Palmer playing in the midfield. And Riyad Mahrez, formerly of Leicester City, will play in a three-man attack on the right-hand side of a three-man attack with Torres in the centre and Eze, number 53, on the left. Substitutes for Manchester City, of course, Scott Carson, the goalkeeper. Their new signing, Jack Grealish, £100 million worth from Aston Villa just 2 days ago. Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Sadler, Doyle, Gomez, Kutu, and Knight. The referees, I'll run through the officials as well very quickly. The officials, today's referee comes from Lancashire. Paul Tierney is the referee. Two assistants, Ian Hewson from Liverpool and Neil Davis from London. The fourth official, also from Liverpool, is Peter Banks. And our VAR referee, well, yes, we've got the dreaded VAR in action today, Darren England from Sheffield. So Leicester have won the toss for colours and the toss for the kick-off. Jack Grealish there on the bench. Pep Guardiola saying in the press conference yesterday, he's had a week of pre-season training, but no more, so he's only fit enough for the bench. City in their change shirts. They take the knee, quite rightly so, to combat the ongoing battle against racism in football, which we could all do without. Everybody's equal in this brave new world of equality, and quite rightly so. And away we go then. Leicester to kick off, attacking the goal to my right-hand side in blue with white shorts and blue stockings. City in the white shirts, sort of green sort of shorts and white socks. I don't know what I make of that kit, to be quite honest, but first ball out of play, and it's an early throw to City just shy of halfway. You're listening to the Commentary Hub with JB Sports, also live on JDAC Football, Storm FM's official YouTube channel, and Commentary Hub 2, also on Periscope, Twitch, and Twitter as well. All platforms, all bases today. And of course, we've got another game coming up as soon as we're finished here this evening. Join John Kane well in time for 8 o'clock when we've got a brilliant game coming up between Sheffield United and Birmingham City, one of my dark horses to do well in the Championship this season. You'll find out more on Thursday night when we do the podcast. And of course, we've got the podcast coming up as well. And 2 Championship games tomorrow and the podcast, of course, on Thursday. 3 kick to Leicester City and a foul on James Maddison there by Ilkay Gundogan, who actually famously scored a penalty in the European Cup final for Borussia Dortmund 7 or 8 years ago now. They, in a losing cause, they lost to Bayern Munich, you may remember, in that all German final. And a free kick it is then to Leicester City, rather. FA Cup winners. Second appearance in the last 6 years. They did lose the last time they were here. You have to go back to 2016. They were last year as Premier League champions. And they lost that day 2-1 to Manchester United. 3 kick towards the far side, and it's Bertrand now on the far side. With a chip in there by him towards the penalty area. Knocked away again. Amati picks the ball up, finds Sayumchu. Sayumchu now back to Ndidi, rather. And Ndidi knocks the ball back across, and then Gundogan gets back there. And there's a good defensive job there for Manchester City. 2 minutes gone. Leicester 0, Manchester City 0 in the 2021 FA Community Shield, sponsored by McDonald's. And here comes Martin getting the ball back to Kasper Schmeichel, who was beaten by a rebounded Harry Kane penalty, exactly the same end in that famous European semi-final. And Schmeichel gets the ball back, finds Amati now just to the left, just to the right rather of his own D, gets the ball to Haaland's halfway, but it's then not back. Mendy now has it, and he finds Nathan Ake, signed from Bournemouth last summer. Now Stefan gets the ball away with his right foot and gets it away towards Riyad Mahrez. Of course, he's sporting a blonde hairstyle as well as Mendy. That might be very difficult if they're both in the penalty area for the same set piece a little later on, perhaps. Might be very difficult to distinguish the two of them. No mistaking Sayoncha. The long-haired Turk gets the ball forward, but it's straight into the arms of Stefan, who picks it up just inside his penalty area. And both sides just feeling their way in. Manchester United had a good round off the pre-season. They beat Everton 3-0 this afternoon. They were beating Everton very comfortably earlier on. But this isn't. No, they said the naysayers of this Community Shield. They say as Stefan just about gets it away, although Perez was quickly onto it, and the ball played forward towards. Was it Palmer? No, it was Edozie. Edozie was the man trying to keep that in. He couldn't. So we're coming up to about 4 minutes of the Community Shield. Just to remind you that 6 substitutes are allowed in the game. Out of the nominated 7. Here's the ball being picked up now by Barnes. Into the penalty area. Good effort there from Barnes. Well blocked. And Gundogan can get it away from the edge of the penalty area. Good start to the game, this. Mahrez on the chase. Sayoncha across. And that goes out for a throw on the far side. Yes, so 6 substitutes are allowed in the 90 minutes. And out of a nominated 7 or 8, 6 can play at any one time. If it does end a draw, incidentally, after 90 minutes, we will go not to extra time, but to a penalty shootout to decide who will win this season's first piece of silver honor for the Community Shield. Of course, used to be called the Charity Shield, but it still benefits charities and communities up and down the line to do with football. And McDonald's have supported the event now for well over 15 years and have done a terrific job sponsoring the event. Free kick though, a bit of a clumsy foul there by Daniel Amati there on Edozie. So a free kick it is to Manchester City in a position of some 30 yards from goal, almost central. And Gundogan is going to play over the set piece. The Leicester fans behind Schmeichel's goal now just worried a little bit at the moment. So this is going to be a bit of a worry this for Manchester City, for Leicester City here. Man City have a free kick. 30, as I said, something like 30 yards out. Paul Tierney making sure that everyone's back the full 10 yards distance. There's a 2-man City wall in front of a 5-man Leicester wall. Looks like Gundogan now, although Mahrez is complaining that Leicester players aren't 10 yards back, but probably a mild complaint. Looks like it's going to be Gundogan then with the right foot, although Mahrez might try with the left. It's a little bit of a guessing game. The goalkeepers and commentators are like, oh, what a good free kick, that is right-footed. Terrific free kick, right-footed there, and Schmeichel having to dive across. It was Mahrez, not Mahrez, it was Gundogan who struck it, and struck it ever so well, and it was a terrific save from Schmeichel, continuing his Wembley heroics once again. That was brilliant goalkeeping, really good goalkeeping there by Kasper Schmeichel. He just swung himself to his right as he looked, and he made a super save there. Brilliant goalkeeping. Corner then. It is then to Manchester City. 6 3/4 minutes gone here. Gundogan, who had his free kick stopped, went short. Tried to play a 1-2 there, and it went all wrong there. This is worth another look. Right-footed strike. It's over the wall, and Schmeichel having to scamper across to his right-hand side as he looked to make the save. It's an excellent bit of goalkeeping that by the big Dane. Of course, the son, need I tell you, of the brilliant Peter Schmeichel, who won a fair few of these Community Shields in his time at Manchester United. And here is RB Barnes now taking it up now. Plays it in there towards Tillemans. Tillemans trying to muck the ball forward, and the ball will go harmlessly into the arms of Stefan, who takes the ball comfortably. Leicester City nil, Manchester City nil, and of course you can have your say as well in the comments as well. And I think we've got a nice new look there for you. And of course the JB Sports channel has now got an entirely new look. We've got a new logo as well, and I hope you're going to enjoy that. And I feel like the channel now has become a little bit pocket, but I'm not going to make it an advert for my channel, because we're not just here on JB Sports. We're on the Commentary Hub 2, Storm FN Official, Storm FM's official YouTube channel, and of course we're also on JDAC, John Kane's own channel, JDAC Football as well, where he will do some of the commentaries for you in Arabic this season. Really good, and they are really good. I had a listen to the Arabic commentary of the recent Euro final, and I thought it was very, very good. Not that I understand Arabic, no disrespect, but it was very good though. Nonetheless, 8.5 minutes gone then, 0-0 if you've just joined us here, and nice to have you with us this Saturday evening. Don't go anywhere after this game, because we'll have a good championship clash for you later this afternoon. Sheffield United against Birmingham City in the championship coming up later on. Kick off for that one, 8 o'clock. Join John again if you can for that one. Here's Gundogan now inside to number 27 Chancellor. He's also got blonde hair as well. 3 of them have got exactly the same blonde hairstyle in the City ranks as the ball was lifted in there, nodded down, and the chance went begging there for Gundogan, and it's into the arms of Schmeichel. So 9 minutes gone then at Wembley, and both teams, of course, Wesley missing key man Wesley Fofana. We sustained a very awful injury, of course, the other week when Leicester were playing a pre-season friendly. In the build-up to this, Fofana was a victim of a late challenge, you may remember, and sustained a broken leg. And our best wishes go out to Wesley Fofana as well. Hope to see him fit and well again and back on a football field pretty soon, we hope. A good talent, and really sad to see him in that. It was sad to see him stretch it off the other night. Manchester City, of course, lost 2 of their key men during the Euros. As you know, Phil Foden, he didn't actually play in the final, funnily enough, because of the injury he sustained. So he missed the final against Italy. But and then Kevin De Bruyne also against the Italians, also tore something in his leg as well. I'm not very good with medical stuff, but he's going to be out for some time. Me and John Kane were talking it over as we look at the Leicester City bench. These are some of the players that are either injured or just haven't been able to make it inside. Johnny Evans there, who was actually stretched off quite early on in the final, in the FA Cup final. You may remember back in May, had an heroic first 23 and a bit minutes, and then had to go off. But that's just, it'll be interesting to see. It's a good opportunity, this Community Shield match, to try out 1 or 2 new ideas and 1 or 2 new things, I suppose. Like, for example, new formations. City, you can guarantee, will be 4-3-3, but this is the first time, I believe, that Leicester have tried this 3 at the back with 4 in midfield and 1 in behind Perez and Vardy. They usually play a 4-3-3 formation normally. Well, certainly when they're at the KP anyway. Here's Madison. Robert Harvey Barnes has it now. Ball played over to Bertrand. Bertrand keeps his feet well. Here's Barnes inside the penalty area. Can't get it out, but it is a Leicester corner. Good work there from Harvey Barnes. Son, of course, of Paul Barnes, the former Burnley and York City striker. Was actually born in Burnley, believe it or not, listeners. But has really come to prominence in Leicester this last 2 or 3 years, and he's a real class act. On his day, he's a brilliant player. Leicester have a corner then, down at the right-hand end, where all the sky blue shirts of Manchester City supporters are. There's something like 20-odd thousand Manchester City fans inside the stadium today. Corner to be taken from the far side then, as it's floated in there towards the area. Indeed, he got up there. Ball comes out again to Bertrand on the far side. Back to Tielemans. Tielemans crossing from the left. It's a dangerous one. Knocked away by the City defenders. And then Maddison tried to volley it before Gundogan got a foot in. And the ball now back with Pereira. Finds Tielemans. Still on halfway. Leicester have still got plenty of blue shirts forward at the moment, but they're going back to Kasper Schmeichel. 12.5 minutes gone. It's Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. If you've just joined us here on the Commentary Hub 2, JB Sports, JDAX Football, and Storm FM YouTube channel, as the ball fended in there towards Vardy. I was saying in an interview the other day, he was asked, how old are you? He said he's 34. How old do you feel? He said 23. So that just shows the vitality of the lad, Vardy. He's come through the ranks. He's come up the hard way, of course. Started off in non-league, then went to Fleetwood, where he really made his name when they got all those promotions to the Football League. Has been at Leicester since 2012 and has never looked back. A Premier League title winner, England caps, an FA Cup winners medal. And after nearly 10 years at the club, he's had a lot to show for his loyalty and dedication to Leicester City Football Club. Absolutely. And quite rightly will go down in Leicester City folklore as a true Leicester City legend, along the likes of Alan Birchenow and Frank Worthington and Keith Weller, all those players, Steve Walsh, Emil Heskey, people like that. He'll go down in that sort of company. He's an absolute star. He had a chance a few years ago to move for Arsenal, but he just didn't think the move was right for him and wisely stayed with Leicester. And you have to say he has really reaped the benefits and the rewards for that. And that is a testament to him. As Manchester City try to attack again, but the ball is now back with Soyuncu and is also back with Kasper Schmeichel. And plenty of live football coming up in the next 10 days. We start with the Premier League next week. We've got a live match on Friday night between Brentford and Arsenal. What a London derby that promises to be. Mike Arneman's going to be your man in the box for that one on Friday night. And, of course, we'll have hopefully Justin Hoyt with us as well. And it will be fantastic to see as well. So, yeah, Mike will be making his seasonal debut commentating on Arsenal. And, of course, we'll have a new guy. We'll have a few new voices. We've got Man City, we've got Man United, Leeds, Norwich, Liverpool, amongst others, coming up for you next week as well. So, plenty of good football to look forward to. And, of course, our podcast, of course, join us at 8 o'clock. And along all the Commentary Hub participating official broadcasters this season. Here's a dozy to the cross comes in, and that was Mendy's cross, and it had to be hooked over practically on the goal line inside the 6-yard box by the Turkish international Soyuncu. But good play there by Edozie. Good crossing from the left-hand side, and there was one or two players waiting in the centre for City, and Soyuncu had to be cautious about that. We've had 15 and a half minutes gone. We've just had over a quarter of an hour here of this 19th Community Shield. Plus won by Manchester United back in 1908. They beat Queen's Park Rangers, would you believe? Anyway, here comes Gundogan with the corner into the penalty area, or outside the penalty area. Cancelo trying the shot right-footed, and it sails over the bar. In fact, it was Mahrez, rather. I'm getting confused with all these hairstyles. That's what it is. But it's the first actual meeting between these two sides, as we just see I'm just seeing a replay here. Mahrez just a little bit heavy with his touch, and then his finish was a little bit, shall we say, sliced, to use a golf analogy, golfing terminology. But the last time these two sides met in a non-league a game outside the league, you have to go back to the 1969 FA Cup final, and Neil Young scoring the winning goal for Manchester City. Then managed, of course, by the brilliant Joe Mercer, and assisted brilliantly by the charismatic late great Malcolm Allison, one of the game's great characters. And of course, Leicester, that was the last time before this season they'd reached the FA Cup final, of course. But we all know what happened in May. One of the most remarkable performances. Possession, Leicester have had the better of it, 58%. Manchester City have had just 42%. But I would have expected that, looking at the strength of both team sheets before then. There was a player gone down. Referee Tierney went in the game flow, trying to give an advantage. City have a chance here with Vardy. Vardy shoots, and it's turned away behind the left-hand post, behind for a corner by Stefan. It was a terrific effort. It was sort of a snapshot. It was Perez who put him in there. Vardy, first touch was a little bit heavy. It may have just been going in wide of the goal there. Let's just see. We've got a camera inside the goal. Yeah, it was just going wide, but Stefan couldn't be certain and did really well. It was a high foot there by Palmer, which probably took Soyuncu, who's quite a tough man, out for the count, but he's up and on his feet, okay, I'm pleased to report. And I wonder if Palmer's been booked for that. I think the referee's just letting it go, purely and simply because it is the Community Shield. It is the first game of the season. And no referee in charge of a short piece wants to make too much of a fuss about it, although Leicester fans would probably disagree with that statement. Anyway, corner kick to Leicester. They have a chance now. 18 minutes gone. Still 0-0 in the Community Shield. Corner in from the left-hand side, and it's headed away. A bit up and under-ish. Shayunchi now heads the ball forward from the edge of the penalty area, and then City get it away again. A little bit of a miss kick there, and now City could be in business with Riyad Mahrez, the former Leicester man, and they know all about his prowess and his pace and his power. He takes on Shayunchi inside the area. Mahrez shoots, deflects, and onto the roof of the net. And all of a sudden, within the space of about 60 seconds, or just inside 60 seconds, Leicester, from having a corner themselves at one end, have now considered a corner at the other end to Manchester City. So 2 corners, one for each side, inside the last 60 seconds or more. And now, or the last 60 seconds possibly, or less, I should say. Had Schmeichel scrambling, almost collided with his right-hand post at that point. So a corner kick then to be taken short. And it's taken short here to Edozie. Edozie now back to Mahrez. And now Mendy, who knocks a nice little ball out to the far side. And it's Mahrez again, challenged there by Pereira. And it's a corner now as we come up towards the 20-minute mark of the first half. JB, John Stuttard, your match commentator. John Kane will be with you again at half-time to chew over the bones of what's been a highly competitive first half as well. Ruben Dias is forward from the back. Fernandinho is there as well. So too is Ake as the corner goes short, and it's a bad ball. Gundogan and Mahrez got their wires crossed as far as communication was concerned. And the ball runs dead into touch for a goal kick. As Pep Guardiola, casually dressed in that t-shirt, trademark white t-shirt. He's a very unconventional fashion sense amongst football managers in this country. Said in a press conference yesterday when asked about Lionel Messi, he wasn't interested. He said he was interested in Harry Kane potentially. But as far as Lionel Messi was concerned, no way was his blunt answer to the questions from the journalists yesterday. And as John Kane rightly points out, there's a potential that PSG could be the next destination. That was an interesting story a day or two back. A lot of people thought he'd signed a new contract, but obviously Barcelona have probably. There was a statement coming out. I'll just come back to that in a second because Parma's trying to get City forward, and Torres actually wasn't on the same wavelength there. He was a little bit slow, and in the end, a goal kick has been given because it came off Ferran Torres for a goal kick to Leicester. Going back to the Lionel Messi thing, interesting to come out of Barcelona because if they had signed a new deal, it would have bankrupted them or they'd been looking over their shoulders for the next 50 years, the club came out and said, which is an interesting subject. So it's obviously that things aren't well with the finances at the Nou Camp Stadium at the moment, hence why they're still trying to push this ridiculous idea of a European Super League through alongside Real Madrid, who again are struggling a little bit financially as well, and Juventus, who of course still have Cristiano Ronaldo on their books, at least for this season. 21 and a half, we've had just shy almost of halfway through the first half. It's just that one big opportunity for Gundogan from a free kick, which was well tipped over brilliantly by Kasper Schmeichel. And of course, Vardy forced a good save out to Stefan at the other end as well. Sayunchi now battles with Palmer, number 80, and wins a throw-in off Palmer. 22 gone. So we're coming rapidly now towards the halfway mark of the first half. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0 at Wembley. And it's great to see supporters here again at Wembley, and it's magnificent to see. And it's been very tough. Great to see fans back at Football League matches. 6th of March, you'd have to go back to the last time we saw almost full gates at a Football League ground or any Football League game. I know there's a few return for a regular Football League game. Of course, there was a number of fans who went to the end of season playoffs last season. Here's Ricardo Pereira now for Leicester. Knocks the ball back from the right-hand side. Ball played in. And a chance there. It was Perez from about 8 yards out. Just couldn't get the right touch there. Might have come to him a little bit quickly, perhaps. Flag stayed down. Pereira was on his marks and on his bike down the right-hand side. Ball was played in there by Tillemans, and just maybe a little bit strong, maybe for Jose Perez, maybe to get on the end of that. But nevertheless, it's still 0-0 here at Wembley Stadium, and one gets the feeling that this. I think hopefully we'll get some goals here today. Let's hope so. Because the Community Shield usually is an entertaining game. And Didi has dispossessed his man. Finds Madison. This is good ball. And Barnes is there too. And Vardy tries to knock the ball in. Stefan saved it and he didn't know much about it. And the ball ricocheted a couple more times. And then it went into the grasp of Stefan, who took it calmly with both hands. But Leicester now starting to find their feet. And almost were in the lead there. Some good enterprising play from Ndidi and Madison to unlock the door. Then Harvey Barnes got involved. Vardy then had a stab at goal, which was well repelled by Stefan. Although, if you ask Stefan that question, he'll probably tell you he didn't know much about it. But nevertheless, it's still a good save, even if he knew about it or not. Even whether he never knew about it or not, it's still a good save nonetheless. And City are still in it at 0-0. And it's them who are on the break now. Although Diaz is just throwing it down a little bit, and he finds Chancellor, who whips a lovely 40-yard pass out to the far side, and he's found Edozie now, and Edozie has been dispossessed quite easily. But Leicester looking a more balanced side, and here it's Pereira again, right-hand side, and he's battling with Edozie again, and he's away from Edozie's advances. And Pereira plays it inside, though, to Tillemans, now to James Madison, and now Bertrand starts a break on the right-hand side. The new man from Southampton plays it back inside, and it's again Ndidi to Madison. Back to Ndidi. Now he has to go back to Soyuncu. Now the ball played back towards Daniel Amati, and Amati now finds Yuri Tillemans. Scored at the opposite end to Wales, attacking here in the cup final. And that's a good ball leading towards Jamie Vardy, but good defending there by Nathan Ake. Allows Stefan to pounce on the ball, but again, that through ball from Leicester, almost penetrating the City defence. James Madison, looking back to his sparkling best in midfield, it seems to me. He's had one or two troubles this calendar year, of course. But James Madison looking in fine fettle in that midfield. Some good form from him. Played a lovely through ball towards the left-hand side of the D. And Vardy, if it had been another couple of years younger, I think he would have gone on to that. But you've got to say, well defended Nathan Ake as well. Just used his strength to hold him up just enough to allow Stefan to pounce on the loose ball and pick that ball up. So we've had 26 minutes of the first half here on the Commentary Hub, JB Sports Commentary Hub 2, Storm FM YouTube channel, and of course JDAC Football as well. John Kane's fine old channel, and of course we're on Twitch, Periscope and Twitter as well. And it's 0-0 between Leicester City and Manchester City in the first big clash of the season, the 2021 FA Community Shield, supported by McDonald's. This is the effort again for Jamie Vardy. This was the earlier chance which came to him, and it hit Stefan, in fact, in the chest. This was the goal mouth scramble, the little pinball machine, and then a few moments. This is the again. Well, I think he might have. Well, it was a very unorthodox sort of save, whether he noticed it or not. The save was actually quite unorthodox, it has to be said. Anyway, here's Bertrand keeping it in on the left-hand side, but loses possession at halfway. Now the ball is not forward, but straining the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. But both goalkeepers doing reasonably well here in this opening 27 minutes, and credit to them too at the moment while we're still at 0-0. But it's a good game of football. There's a chance now here. Oh, and it's Edozie just to the left of the D, after the 6-yard area. He went to hit it first time with his left foot and absolutely sliced it into the Leicester City fans for a goal kick to Leicester. But Leicester's just showing their vulnerability with that back three again. This time, really, a more seasoned striker for Sergio Aguero would have been in the side, or David Silva perhaps. It may have been a better type of finish. He's a young kid, Edozie. I think we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt of that. Of course, the excitement of playing at Wembley for the first time might have had a bearing on that. And sometimes when you're playing at Wembley, you get the excitement. Meanwhile, whilst I'm talking to you, there's been a foul there by Chancelo on Harvey Barnes, number 7. A little bit of a push going on there. So a referee really has to have eyes really in the back of his head. So far, it's got to be said that Paul Tierney has had a good match so far. He's looked very, very good. He's given the game every conceivable opportunity to flow. And that, to his credit, has got to be a good thing there. So, plenty happening here in this opening stages of the first half. And here's Aki now, just dawdling a little bit there on the edge of the own penalty area, but he got it back to his goalkeeper all right. And a good header won there by Ndidi, and then the ball knocked forward by Tillemans, but he's lost possession that time. And the referee deciding that is a free kick by a foul there on Gundogan by Jose Perez. Both players up and about and smiling with the good human nature that the Community Shield is quite famous for. It's played in with a good. You don't get too many fiery Community Shield games. Usually played in a very good spirit, good humoured spirit. Apart from 1974 when Giles, Keegan and Bremner had their bit of a dust up at the end, which led to Bremner and Keegan being sent off and throwing their shirts down in disgrace, as the great Barry Davis once said. Hopefully we won't get any incidents like that here this afternoon at Wembley Stadium. It's a good game, not ill-tempered by any means. Good attitude from the players. Here's a Dozy now going down the left-hand side. Has to go back to Mendy. Mendy now in field. And ball has been lost there by Fernandinho, the more experienced, who's been at the club now for some 7 or 8 years himself. So he's a bit of a veteran these days. Here's James Maddison now for Leicester City, and he was surely tripped, but referee telling him to get up. Leicester in possession now. So they've got the ball. So referee Tierney just saying, come on, let's just carry on and play some football. Half an hour gone. It's Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0 in the Community Shield. Ball back with Schmeichel, just slowing the pace a bit down, but it's been I'll tell you what, for a 0-0, this has actually been quite a good watch. Plenty of chances, plenty of frills and spills. And both goalkeepers showing remarkably good form. More from Stefan than Schmeichel, but the one save that Schmeichel had to make was a cracker from a free kick. Taken a right-footed free kick from outside, 30 yards outside from goal, struck by Ilkay Gundogan. One ball not forward, looking to the run of Perez, but the ball's going to run out of dead on the near side, and it'll be a throw-in to Manchester City. And Mendy gets on with it very quickly, finds Ake, who now finds Ruben Dias. Dias now just checking, seeing what's on. He's now slowed down to practically strolling pace. Same here with Nathan Ake, the signing from Bournemouth. A lot of eyebrows were raised last season when they got him for the money they could pay for him, something like £25 million from Bournemouth. A lot of eyebrows were raised. He'd come from a relegated side. Hasn't really had too much of an opportunity to prove his worth, but he'll get an opportunity today to prove his worth to the City fans as Barnes runs into traffic midway inside the City half. Now Leicester get it back, and here's Barnes now. It's a real opportunity to see what he can do. Here's Vardy now, back to Barnes, and he almost got through to Barnes, and in the end, Ake had to hook it out for a corner. But Leicester really taking the fight. The FA Cup winners taking the fight to the league champions. This is good to see, and actually in the last few years, the FA Cup winners tend to get the upper hand in these games. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Leicester actually went on and won this game today. If previous recent history is anything to go by in these occasions, obviously it doesn't give you a massive indicator what's going to happen in the next 9 months of both teams' seasons, but you think that Leicester will be there or thereabouts trying to challenge give an outside challenge for the Champions League spot, maybe win one of the cups, or have a go, maybe a better go at winning the Europa League. And Manchester City trying to retain their league crown and win the European Cup, which they lost, of course, to Chelsea at the back end of May. Here's Mendy now knocking the ball forward over towards the far side, header back, and the ball now breaks to Palmer on the far side. Palmer there, and there was a bit of a shove there on Mahrez, I thought, by Tillemans, but referee Tierney otherwise, and it's a throw-in, I think, given there to Leicester. Pep Guardiola wanting more from his side. I think they have been a little bit second best in this first half so far. Certainly Leicester have shaded it for me. 33 gone and still no goals. Of course, keep your comments coming in and we'll try and get through some of them if we can at some point today. But the main moments so far, a free kick saved by Schmeichel from Gundogan earlier on, and Vardy's had a couple of sighters, well saved. In fact, 3 or 4 opportunities Vardy's had, and Stefan has saved each one. But at the moment, no breakthrough, but it's certainly a game that's not been lacking in any goal-mouth activity, and has had plenty of chances in it. Still 0-0. As we now approach the final 12 minutes plus injury time of the first half. Just remind you that 6 substitutes can be used in this match, and the game doesn't go to extra time. If it's a draw after the 90 minutes, we will go straight to a penalty shootout. And then to come tonight, we've got a very good game from the Championship. Sheffield United in action against Birmingham City. Joining the presenter's chair for that one from 7:50 on all the major channels supplied by the Commentary Hub. Commentary Hub 2, JB Sports, JJack Football, of course, and not to mention Storm FM, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope as well. And of course, the man of the match, I should also tell you, if John hasn't told you already, I certainly will. The man of the match today will be voted for by yours truly, and it's sponsored, of course, again, the second season running by Commentary Services. As the ball crossed in there by Jose Perez, but straight into the arms of Stefan, who takes the ball and bowls it straight out to Gundogan. And Gundogan now running towards the halfway line on the left-hand side. Gundogan just has to check back. Looks for Fernandinho just outside the centre circle to the left of it. Now goes back to Gundogan. But City now just slowing the pace down, slowing the tempo down the way they want to play it at the moment. And here is Riyad Mahrez, the pacey winger who came to prominence for Leicester City. Bought him for peanuts and sold him for quite a fortune. And haven't looked back since. Mike's on saying hello. Hiya, Mike. Nice to have you with us. And of course, you'll hear Mike's dulcet tones on Friday night, 6 days' time, as he takes the commentary. And of course, he'll have a special guest commentator, our old friend from the Euros, Justin Hoyt, will be joining him in the commentary box for Brentford against Arsenal. That's on Friday night, around about 7:45, 8 o'clock kickoff for the first match of the new Premier League season. Mike Arneman will be your fox in the box for us this coming Friday. Don't forget, we've got 2 more Championship games tomorrow afternoon. As I'll tell you those a little in a second or two, because we've got a free kick in a promising position on the right-hand side for Manchester City, fouled by Seung-Chu or Riyad Mahrez. So a free kick now to Man City, and Mahrez is going to take it far side. Now, can they get an opening goal from here? Well, inside the last 8.5 minutes of the first half, are we going to see a late flurry of activity, and are we going to see an opening goal in this Community Shield game? Looks like he's going to be left to Gundogan to float it in there. Fernandinho's forward. Ruben Diaz is up from the back. So too is Ake. Edozi's on the far post. Gundogan from the right-hand side then. The far side as we look to take the free kick. And he hits it into the penalty area. Looking for Edozi with a header back in. Wasn't a particularly well-flighted header. It's got to be said it was a bit wayward. And it's come out as far as Mendy on the halfway line. Mendy hits the ball forward towards the Leicester box. Headed behind for a throw into Manchester City. Just 5 yards short of the near corner quadrant. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us here as well. And looks like Stevenage have won today, so he's quite happy with life, Mike Arneman. And 3 points to Stevenage. Of course, we'll keep you updated with all the other scores as well throughout the evening over our 2 live matches, this one, and of course the championship game between Sheffield United and Birmingham City. As a chance now inside the penalty area for Torres, and he goes down. He went down a little bit too easily for me, and Paul Tierney wasn't going to fall for that. And I think that was good, sensible referee from Paul Tierney. I don't think it was a penalty. He went down far too easily. He could have gone down in about 8 installments, and the referee wouldn't have given a penalty for that. You think in the Community Shield game, have a good run there. I thought he was going to get past 1 or 2 defenders, and he did go down, but Paul Tierney knew exactly what he was doing. And the ball spread through. Can't find Edozie, and it's out for a throw-in. But City just coming back into it the last sort of 5 minutes or so. Right, 2 more championship games to make you aware of here. Across all platforms tomorrow, alongside the Commentary Hub Network. Michael just gets that away, now finds a Marty. So tomorrow we've got Fulham against Middlesbrough from Craven Cottage. Russ Vernon will be your commentator for that one at just shy of 1:30 tomorrow afternoon across all the channels. And of course, Nicholas Jones will be making his first appearance in the commentary box. He's got a very good, cracking little Midlands derby from the Rico Arena tomorrow afternoon, and that is between Coventry City and Nottingham Forest, and that will be at 4:20 tomorrow afternoon. Nicholas Jones, your commentator for that one. Here is Gundogan, finds Edozie. Edozie now just to the left of the 6-yard area. Keeps it in play inside the area by the byline. Has to go back to Mendy. Mendy now with a right-footed cross towards the back post. It'll come here for Mahrez if he can keep it in on the far side. There are 3 players down, and it's a Leicester man who's come off worse. Palmer's another one who's gone down in a Manchester City shirt. And it was a clash of heads between him and one of the players there. I think it was Bertrand. Bertrand, in fact, it was the man who was fouled there. Although Pep Guardiola rather optimistically asking for a penalty kick. Now, I can tell you that VAR are involved today and will be making on-the-spot decisions should they see fit today. And of course, the offside rule has been ironed out now, because if it goes to VAR, they're going to use much more fatter lines, if you like, and just to determine. I think what they're trying to do, there was a lot of controversy last season about players who looked like a half a foot offside were actually caught offside. This new line that they're going to use for VAR throughout the Premier League and FA Cup and whatnot this season is designed to help the attackers more rather than the defenders, because they got a lot of first stick there from the attackers taking side, especially if you think you've scored a perfectly good goal and it gets called off for having half a toe offside. When half of your toes offside, I think that's a bit harsh on the attacking team. So what VAR and what Mike Riley, the referee's chief, has tried to do is try to make it fairer to the attacking team. And I think that is good. Now, Pep Guardiola, for complaining, I've just found out, has been shown a yellow card. So now he's got to watch his step. Pep Guardiola, sensationally, has been given a yellow card. Now, whilst I was blabbing on about the new offside law for VAR, it's all very complicated, but there was nothing wrong with the old offside rule of many years ago, but I'm just an old dinosaur, really. Here's Nathan Ake now to Ruben Dias. Dias midway inside his own half. Good first half, entertaining first half. I'll be happy for something to drink at half time. Get my throat ready for the second half. John Kane will run you through the comments that have come in throughout the first half, and of course he'll run you through all the scores that has been happening across the country today. Championship League and Leagues 1 and 2 are underway in the Football League as Mahrez has a run of about 20 yards, then just shoots. In fact, it was Cancelo. Again, I'm getting my blonde hairstyles mixed up a little bit. Early season rustiness from the commentator as well, but still 0-0. But a good performance from both sides, and I've really enjoyed some of the football that's been played, even though we had no score here at the headquarters of English football. Of course, the good old, a brand. I wouldn't say new, relatively new Wembley Stadium, of course, which is making history now in its own right. Now it's been up now for over 13 years, This lovely stadium that we've got here under the arch. There was a lot of criticism when it was built. Would it lose all the character with the Twin Towers knocked down? But it's certainly got a character all of its own, and it's still as magical a place as ever to play your football as Palmer tries to make inroads. But again, good sturdy Leicester City defence. Chances for both sides in this first half, but no breakthrough yet. Maybe Ferran Torres might be the man to provide it. He finds Edozie on this left-hand side, edge of the area. Edozie runs inside the area, tries to take on his man. Comes to Gundogan, hits it right-footed. Gundogan shoots and over the top into the Leicester City fans, and a goal kick it is for Leicester City. Still 0-0. And, yeah. And something to wet your whistle. If you're just to remind you, next Saturday it's around about 3 o'clock, we're going to actually be showing some authentic non-league football, and it's from Binfield FC against Basingstoke in the Isthmian League. So to next week, join Nicholas Jones for that one. He'll be live at that ground. He'll be live at the ground for that one. He'll be giving you the match from 3 o'clock across all platforms on the Commentary Hub network. We'll be actually at a non-league game next week. No word of a lie. Nicholas Jones has done a magnificent deal to get that on the air. So well done to Nicholas. Good enthusiasm. And I'm also looking at doing 1 or 2 non-league games throughout the course of the season myself, locally as well. So, and give them a little bit of national airtime as well, and international airtime, because all our streams, of course, across YouTube go all the way around the world. So you're joining us. So wherever you are in the world, say hi to us all. Here's James Maddison now on the counter-attack for Leicester. Half a minute to go of normal time at the end of the first half. And he goes down, but referee Tierney's not interested. We've got 15 seconds of normal time remaining in the first half, but Leicester now win possession. And here goes Bertrand towards the edge of the area. Finds Maddison. Maddison out to Barnes. Barnes has crossed and Vardy through. Vardy shoots and he's saved onto the post by Stefan. How has that not gone in? How has that not gone in? 5 chances that Jamie Vardy has had, and Stefan has thwarted him every single time. Unbelievable. Brilliant save. And again, Stefan going the wrong way, but Leicester on the attack here with Barnes. Frantic end to this first half here. Barnes still has it on the left-hand side. We're inside the 1 minute of stoppage time, for which we had 20 seconds of late Leicester pressure. Header won inside the penalty area by Leicester. Pereira winning that header, but it came to nothing in the end. Jamie Vardy has been so unfortunate on 5 separate occasions throughout this first half, and you wouldn't have believed it, could you? I thought that had gone in there, but Stefan has somehow got some part of his anatomy going the wrong way to the ball, and he's sort of diverted it onto the left hand upright. Here's to Maddison, miscontrols it as he tries to get possession. 6 seconds of stoppage time to go, and Paul Tierney now will be checking his watch frantically. Allow this City attack. Gundogan now finds Edozie. This will be the last attack, and it comes to nothing. And surely the referee brings an end. Good close control as well. So there goes the half-time whistle. No goals, but plenty of excitement. And Vardy, who's had 4 separate occasions where he's been thwarted here. This is a replay of, I'm just looking at a replay. It was well won here, and Bertrand had made a terrific run. Then Maddison laying the ball in. Barnes has crossed. Vardy shoots left-footed, and Stefan, as I see it from another angle, it's behind Vardy. It's going in, and he's going the wrong way. He's got his right hand to it, and it's come off the inside of the post and bounced away. So that's how it happened. Stefan has been the busier goalkeeper of the two. Earlier, Schmeichel had to save well from a free kick, right-footed free kick from Ilkay Gundogan. But as we hand back to John Kane in the studio, the half-time scoreline in the Community Shield of 2021 is Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. John.
Thank you very much, JB, and welcome back, everyone here. And yes, first time have ended on the Community Shield between Manchester City and Leicester City, and it's still 0-0 between both sides. I'm going to bring on one of our guests, one of the commentators, Mike Harneman. Good afternoon, Mike. Obviously, you're watching the game, and it's been quite equal, to be fair, but the chance is more for Leicester in the first half, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, John. Good evening, JB. Good evening, everyone tuned in as well. And Yeah, I think Leicester have been very, very good in that first half. I think they're very unlucky and unfortunate not to be going in, at least one goal to the good. Jamie Vardy there, as JB mentioned, had plenty of opportunities, and that last one, obviously the goalkeeper was going the wrong way, and he was still able to sort of get enough on it to direct it onto the post in the end was Stefan. And I think Jamie Vardy's going to be kicking himself as to how he's not scored in that first half. But Man City have had opportunities as well. But as you were saying, and rightly so, Leicester have got to be taking those chances if they want to win the game.
Absolutely, and of course, one of the players we're playing today is James Maddison. And I'm going to have to ask you about James Maddison, Mike, for being an Arsenal fan. Of course, you get your news and you listen to the rumours and everything else over the last week. Before the game, I spoke with JB about Harry Kane and the situation and everything else. I'm going to speak about James Maddison quickly. What's happening with James Maddison as far as the social media, the fans, and all the rumours you can hear is concerned? Is he definitely going? Is there a chance of him going to Arsenal, or is he actually more or less staying fit where he is now?
I'm not completely sure, to be honest. I've obviously been at a game myself this afternoon, so I don't know any latest as of today. But as far as I've been aware in the last few days, there's no concrete agreement or no deal finalised or anything along those lines with James Maddison. Yes, there's interest from Mikel Arteta and from Arsenal, but there's nothing, no concrete bid or no offer's been made or anything like that. So that's as far as I know up to this afternoon.
And of course, this afternoon, you've joined the big amount of audiences or spectators from all over the country for Steven Ishboro's first home game. Tell us about it, Mike.
Yeah, really, really good. It's good to be back. On the opening day of the season at the Lamex Stadium. Really, good performance as well. I thought there was a lot of standout players. Jake Reeves on his debut was fantastic. Got the goal as well. That was the difference in the end. Just about 3 minutes into the start of the second half. And just all over the pitch, it was really just a good performance. Lots of energy about the team. Lots of positive sort of signs about the team. The main important thing is that scoreline with a 1-0 win as well. So, yeah, good to be back watching a competitive game in the flesh, and even more so to get the win and get the 3 points as well.
Absolutely, it's been a really horrible year for everyone concerned, not just in England or the UK, where all over the world with the pandemic, and it passed the year mark now, and we just wish everyone to stay safe and well. Go back to today's game, Mike, and of course, there's only one yellow card in the match. There's actually for Pep Guardiola. It wasn't even to a player. And from what you've seen, was it justified to make an argument about the penalty-ish shout for Manchester City?
I didn't think it was. When I was watching it myself, I didn't think it was. I thought it would have been a harsh one to give. But, I'm sure Pep Guardiola's got his arguments as to going the other way. But for me, it would have been soft. And I think the referee and the officials have got the call. Yeah, I think they got it right, to be honest.
And where can you see the second half going? Is we are going to see different kind of Manchester City? Are we going to see Jack Grealish maybe changing it, make it a more attacking team? I know they've got probably just slightly more possession, Manchester City, in the first half, but really haven't done much with it. All the chances have come to Leicester, so they need to do something, don't they, with a team as of Manchester City's calibre? Yeah,
I'm just watching the chances again now, and all of them are Leicester chances that they're showing, really. And I do see Jack Grealish coming on and having an impact in the game. I'm not too sure who else is on the bench for Man City, because I got in and literally put the stream on as soon as I ran in the door, to be honest, and put the game on. So I'm not too sure what the bench is really looking like, but I think Grealish will come on. I'm not too sure if they've got any sort of strikers on the bench that might come on as well. But yeah, I do see Grealish getting some minutes in this one. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you quickly about an ex-Arsenal player, Harry Kane, which he was before he moved into Spurs at a young age. What do you personally make of it? Obviously, I asked JB the same question, and I mentioned to him that Harry Kane didn't turn up to training. So many rumours came about, and he stayed silent, didn't he? And Tottenham stayed silent as well. The only thing we knew from Manchester City is they put a bid of £100 million, which got rejected. Then all of a sudden, after 2-3 days of missing training, which we don't know really the reasons why, but Lionel Messi became available. All of a sudden, the next day, Harry Kane decides to defend himself, which brought even more question marks on it. And then now with this talk about Messi is actually going to PSG, we're just waiting for confirmation. It's a bit, I know I said that earlier before the game with JB, and I called it a mess as far as Spurs are concerned, but it is a mess, really. I mean, we should have at least heard something from Daniel Levy or a spokesman from Spurs to clarify Harry Kane's situation rather than lay into going to the rumour mill.
Yeah, 100%. I think, with the rumours from Harry Kane being away, I think originally they said that he missed a couple of days training and he extended a holiday or didn't return in time from when he was sort of supposed to be coming back to training at Spurs. And I don't know whether that's true or, hearsay or whatever it may be. But, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Harry Kane, of course, in the remaining part of this transfer window, and even to see what happens in the next week, whether he lines up. Obviously, he won't play in the pre-season friendly, you say pre-season friendly, it's Arsenal Spurs, it's not going to be a friendly, but he won't play in that tomorrow, and then it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him, for the opening game, which, ironically, is Man City Tottenham.
Absolutely. We talk about the big news, and obviously I've just mentioned Messi, and after so many years with Barcelona, he's always been the one-team wonder, one of the best players of all time. At Barcelona since the age of 8 or 9, if I remember correctly, and now he's 34. And then obviously due to not agreeing to contract, because from what we're hearing here in Spain, that contract would have actually bankrupted Barcelona straight away. But it's going to be weird, isn't it, seeing someone who stayed with this club throughout the best years of his life or best years of his career in a different team, regardless if that was Man City, PSG, or even AC Milan. But it's going to be weird seeing Messi in a different shirt, a part of Argentina.
100%. It's going to be weird seeing Barcelona play without Messi in their side as well. But, I think that PSG is a good move for him. They're, a club that have got lots of talent, lots of money. So they'll be able to afford his wages easily and everything like that. And it won't be the same sort of situation where, it's a club possibly getting bankrupted like Barcelona would have been. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him, Kylian Mbappe, the Neymar, all link up in the same side. It's going to be, bar Ronaldo, it's going to be fantastic to see probably 3 of the 4 best in the world all playing in the same team.
I think I've got the advantage of listening more about the Spanish football here, and I think people outside of Spain, some don't seem to realise the big financial problem that actually hits La Liga. And La Liga, who used to be probably the best league in the world, let's say about 5-6 years ago. And now even the attraction towards La Liga hasn't been that good in the last 2-3 years. People are more interested in the Premier League. They're getting back in watching the Serie A. That league has improved. It's not going back to as good as it was in the 90s, but is improving. And of course, if Messi does end up in PSG and all signed, sealed and delivered, we're going to see an attraction coming into the French league, the League One, which of course we'll try to cover as much as we can of Paris Saint-Germain to satisfy our customers and our listeners. But it's a big problem in football. The pandemic didn't really help, and I know Arsenal Spurs pulled out in the end, but at this stage, at the stands, teams like Madrid and Barcelona are still in that pack of the European Super League. That shows the desperation financially these clubs are, aren't they?
100%. You see that those sort of clubs are in dire straits. They desperately need that money.
And they're not giving up. They're not giving up. Sorry, Mike. They're not giving up on the idea, are they?
No, not at all. That's what I was saying. They desperately need that money. For new players or to get players' contracts signed and whatever it may be on the sort of fees and wages and salaries that they're on. And so it's obviously good that none of the English teams are there, but as you say, it really shows how the Spanish league is started to struggle in the last, I don't know how many years, but fairly recently anyway, the last probably couple of years.
We speak about money, and obviously every single club needs money to carry on with his identity. How do smaller clubs survive? I mean, in general terms, and especially over the last year or so, and obviously you are so close to Stevenage. How are they coping? I mean, we talk about Barcelona, and of course, it's to do with the massive wages as well as Madrid and all that.
Yeah.
But how can a team like Stevenage stay up for the benefit of the listeners who haven't familiar with the financial side of things in the lower leagues?
It's very, very difficult. Obviously, there was a lot of clubs that went under. Bury went under, Macclesfield went under. There was lots of other clubs on the verge of going under. I think the majority of League Two was almost on the verge of going under, really, bar maybe one or two. Stevenage are one of those, that have a small budget as well. They don't really have a lot of sort of pulling power in that aspect. Got a lot of pulling power in other aspects in terms of the training ground and the stadium and whatever, but and even the location being as close to London as we are. But I mean, it's really, really difficult. They have to rely on, obviously, the sort of deals, sponsorships. Obviously, we had the big Burger King sponsorship deal, and that was a big one for the club. That really helped out throughout the pandemic. And of course, the iFollow match passes and things like that helps as well. But of course, getting match day revenue is going to really, just really benefit sort of clubs like Stevenage, clubs like Carlisle, clubs like Barrow, all of those sort of clubs that really, really are struggling, Forest Green and, even into League One, some clubs in League One, even as high up as the Championship with Derby and what's happening with them. So, yeah. No,
absolutely. I mean, Derby, I think they've got about 8-9 players for first team at the moment, only available.
That's right.
So they might. So,
that's right.
They're in big trouble. Wayne Rooney's side. Of course, he's the manager of Derby at the moment. Just like to remind you that after this game, we have got a commentary from Liam Bresby, one of the new talents that have joined the commentary hub for the game of Sheffield United versus Birmingham City from the Championship. It's going to be a big game. Both big clubs who actually stuck in the Championship, shall we say, in the nicest possible terms that we can mention. But this game will be after the conclusion of Manchester City versus Leicester City. We are probably about a minute or so away to hand over to JB for the second half. What's your quick prediction, Mike, regarding that coming half?
I think Leicester have played really, really well. So I think if they continue on the sort of form that they, and how they played in that first half, I think they'll get a goal and they'll win it. So I'm going to go to Leicester to nick it 1-0.
Thank you very much, Mark Hanneman. We'll listen to you later on after the game for your views. And now we're back with JB for the second half.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Mike. Welcome back, everybody, to this. We're just waiting now just for the two teams to come out. We'll just see Jack Grealish come out into the bench. And, wow, what a moment for him that could be as we just await the arrival of the two teams. But I should also... some good points there made by the two lads as regards Lionel Messi and the Barcelona finances. The teams are coming back out onto the field there, as you can see, or as I can see. If you are watching it on the television and turn the actual TV commentary down, then you'll be able to see it. But if you're not, Man City are the first ones out in their white shirts. They were certainly up against it in the first half. They've had their post hit. They had one or two. Stefan made one or two magnificent saves. He certainly had a good first half, the goalkeeper for Manchester City. Now we're just waiting for Leicester City to come back out onto the field for the start of the second half. What will be in store in the next few minutes, I'm not quite sure. We're still waiting on Leicester coming out. The officials are just coming out now. We can see Leicester just in the tunnel there. James Maddison just going through one or two other bits and bops, although I think he's probably... Yeah, he's just going through one or two tactical things with the players at the moment. Paul Tierney with a match ball in his grasp. So Leicester now meaning business as they come out for the second half, led of course by their charismatic goalkeeper, captain Kasper Schmeichel, taking over the captaincy now full time from the now departed Wes Morgan. Of course, that was a nice way for Wes Morgan to leave last season with a cup winners medal. He got on towards the end. Brendan Rodgers walking out there, having a little bit of a conversation with Paul Tierney. And you've got to say, he has done just as remarkable job as Claudio Ranieri did when he won the Premier League, although no one expected Ranieri at the time to win it. But Brendan Rodgers has taken taking the silverware to new levels for a club like Leicester to win the FA Cup was tremendous. It wasn't an easy ride when they won the cup because they had to play Manchester United in the semis, and they won that. They won that actually quite convincingly as well. So, they had some tough tests along the way to get to Wembley and of course win the cup. So away we go then. The referee getting is underway pretty swiftly, and it's Manchester City now attacking the goal to our right, where all their supporters are situated behind Kasper Schmeichel's goal. Leicester attacking the goal to our left in blue shirts, City in the white. Leicester attacking their supporters to the left of myself as Palmer now lets the ball out, finds Mahrez on the left-hand side. Mahrez well tracked there by the defender Bertrand, who coolly gets it back to Schmeichel, who slashed his clearance but got away with it. Here's Tillemans running into traffic. Indeed, he hit in the long ball, but it's too long. And Stefan will get his first touch of the second half with almost 40 seconds of the second half gone. And of course, if it does end, just a slight reminder, the Community Shield, we do not require extra time for the Community Shield. If it does end a draw after 90 minutes, folks, we will have a penalty shootout to decide who will win the Community Shield. If it does end a draw 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, whatever, we will go straight to penalties. And as regards the substitution rules for the Shield itself, 6 substitutes can come on and play at any one time during this now second half, as the ball is spreading into the penalty area and for a goal kick. It was a cross in there from Edozie and well away from harm's way in the end. It wasn't a particularly good cross. There was nobody gambling inside the 6-yard box in a white shirt for Manchester City, and Schmeichel was quite confident that was going nowhere near the goal. Both teams, incidentally, trying to play up in the back. No long kick tactics this afternoon. Here's Maddison picking the ball up on halfway. Feeds Harvey Barnes on the left-hand side. Has to go back to Ryan Bertrand. Bertrand just checks and has to go back a little bit. Indeed, he now takes possession. Still 0-0 at Wembley Stadium. We've had 2 minutes of the second half. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. Liam Brusby will be your commentator at Bramall Lane tonight for Sheffield United against Birmingham City. He makes his commentary hub and JB Sports debut as he will be the man presiding over that big championship clash as well. And all the championship results going through on the ticker, you'll be able to see there going through there on the screen as we talk to you now. Some decent results there. Luton winning there today. Hull winning at Preston by the looks of it. QPR Millwall 1-1. And Stoke 3, Reading 2. Just some of the standout results from earlier on this afternoon in the Sky Bet Championship of the Football League. And it's good to see regular league football return with supporters this season. It's good to have it back after, as John said, it's been a turbulent 18 months for the Football League. Not been able to gain any revenue, certainly clubs in Leagues 1 and 2. So to get them back on board and get supporters back in is absolutely superb. Mike says that Stevenage have got Luton away in the cup. Well, should be a ding-dong battle, that one, on Tuesday. And of course, we've got there's some League Cup football on Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course, we've got the Super Cup, of course. Tom Safari will be your commentator again. He's another one making his commentary hub bow on Wednesday night. Join Tom and presenter Russ Vernon for the European Super Cup being played at Windsor Park between Chelsea and Villarreal in Belfast on Wednesday night. Join both of them if you can. Meanwhile, in the Community Shield, 0-0 between Leicester and Manchester City. If you've just joined us, here's Harvey Barnes, left-hand side, cuts in field towards the edge of the penalty area. Barnes still going, but ran into Chancelo, who stayed on his feet well and kept his feet brilliantly there. Wasn't tempted to slide in by any stretch of the imagination. 4 minutes gone in the second half, and it's still an all-action game. We saw that the other day. As the ball, saw that in the first half, but the ball played forward and Barney's onto it again. He's up against Diaz, and he showed too much of that to Diaz. Try to confuse Diaz and try to hot shuffle him one way or the other. Got his shot in, but Diaz wasn't for being moved, of course. And here come Manchester City again. Good football this time. And they're leading the charge now as they head towards goal. That's going to be a free kick foul by Bertrand. And a yellow card. The first on the field. Mahrez, the man, tripped as he made that dash there. Bertrand knew exactly what he was doing. Stuck out a leg. Definitely a foul. And a definite yellow card for the former Southampton man. And Manchester City here a bit closer in last time. And it's Bertrand, the first player on the field to be booked. Of course, Pep Guardiola sensationally got a yellow card at the end of the first half for complaining. It turns out that City were trying to appeal a penalty. But a free kick was given to Leicester towards the death of the first half. So a free kick it is with almost 5.5 minutes gone of this second period. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. Looks like it's going to be the left foot of Mahrez. It's favoured, I think, for the left footer. It's about 22, maybe 23 yards, almost central. Mahrez, I think, fancies this. Leicester have got 4 in the wall, plus James Maddison lying down if they try to go under the wall. Very much the vogue now in free kick wars being lined up. And can Mahrez strike? Or will Mahrez strike it with the left foot? It looks as if it's going to be Mahrez. Left foot, too high, into the stand for a goal kick. No need for Kasper Schmeichel to be required to actually make the save at any given opportunity. As we see the replay again, as I see the replay, left foot, far too high. And I don't think there was much doubt about that one, to be fair. As Schmeichel now carries the ball out, finds Sayum-Chu. Sayum-Chu now knocks the long ball forward. Header flicked on. Haki to win the next one. Ruben Diaz now has it about 15 yards from halfway. Goes into the centre, finds Aki. Aki now finds Mendy. Back to Aki again. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. 2 more championship games for you to come here on the commentary of JB Sports, JDAC Football, and Storm's YouTube channel, Storm FM's YouTube channel. Talk you about those in a second because City were on the attack. Mendy gets it out, or Marty, gets it out, and he does a throw in. So 2 more championship games tomorrow for you to listen to along to. Firstly, at 1:30, Russ Vernon will make his first English commentary after his successful spell. Of course, he brought you that brilliant game between Hearts and Celtic in the Scottish Premier Division last week. He's back on the airwaves tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 in the afternoon for Fulham against Middlesbrough in the Championship. Neil Warnock going back to Neil Warnock's team visiting Craven Cottage. And then later on in the afternoon, again on the commentary up to JB Sports, JDAC Football, Storm FM, YouTube channel, and of course Periscope, Twitter, and Twitch as well. All these channels all the football will be on as well this season with our partners, and of course we'll have a real good and grudgy Midlands derby between Coventry City and Nottingham Forest as the shot comes in and it's straining the arms of goalkeeper Schmeichel from Gundogan. Nicholas Jones will be doing the commentary at from the crash at the Rico tomorrow. Join him just before 4:30 for that. For the kickoff at the same time as he makes his seasonal debut. And of course, join him for some non-league football tomorrow, next Saturday afternoon, around about 3 o'clock, as he'll be covering a non-league game from the European League as well. And it will be a pucker game. No off-tube stuff. It will be done exclusively from the ground. So you'll have all the authenticity of a proper atmospheric non-league football ground. So next weekend, join Nicholas Jones next Saturday afternoon for some non-league football, but some non-league Isbian League football, and I hope you can join us for that. Meanwhile, back into the present day, at the top of the English tree, we've got the FA Cup winners in action against the Premier League champions, who finished 12 points above everybody else. Liverpool, Manchester United, everybody else. And I've got £100 million worth of talent on the bench in Jack Grealish. Interesting now, I was just off the mic at half time and I was reading through some of the professional comments, and Roy Keane was quoted on television as saying it's absolutely ridiculous about the Harry Kane thing, as Vardy concedes a free kick to Manchester City. He said something about a gentleman's agreement, and he said absolute rubbish. So Roy Keane, obviously forthright in his views. He has been forthright throughout his footballing career, whether as a player, a manager, and a pundit. And again, no exception there. As Mahrez gets the ball forward and wins the corner for the defender, Sayuncu, for a Manchester City corner. As we come up towards 10 minutes played of the second half, Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0, and it's Mahrez with a short corner to Cancelo. Back to Mahrez again. The ball chipped in there. A chance inside a penalty area for Manchester City. Shot comes in from Gundogan, right footed, and it goes over the bar. I think he may have just sliced it over the crossbar, and it's gone behind for a goal kick, I think, for Leicester City. But Manchester City now just starting to get on to grips with things here at Wembley Stadium this afternoon. Yeah, just hits it into the ground and swirls away to safety for a goal kick. Schmeichel now takes possession. And the attempts so far, Leicester have had 8 and Manchester City have had 9. So we've had in total 9 attempts apiece. So we've had something in the region of around about 17 attempts between the two sides. For a 0-0, that's actually quite some going. It's just that both goalkeepers and a combination of wayward shooting in both goalkeepers have certainly kept the score sheet blank at the moment. So hopefully now we'll see 1 or 2 goals in the second half for you to enjoy. And please keep your comments clean, of course. If you are watching on any particular platform, whether it's on JB Sports, JDAC Football, Storm FM, Commentary Hub 2, and of course Periscope, Twitter and Twitch, please keep your comments sensible and clean. We are, every match we cover on the Commentary Hub, we are a family show and very respectful to everybody who tunes in, whatever race or religion or whatever sex you are, whether you're a boy, girl, man or woman. We welcome all comers. Here's Riyad Mahrez inside the penalty area, just loses it there. Good tackle there, and now Sayuncu gets it forward to Harvey Barnes. And Barnes, who had a terrific first half, has spread James Maddison on the far side. Back to Harvey Barnes inside the area. Vardy waits in the centre. It's a corner for Leicester. 57 minutes gone in the second half. Still 0-0 in this 2021 FA Community Shield, sponsored by McDonald's. And Leicester City have won another corner. I'd like to look at the corner count. Must have been to double figures for both sides now. We've had plenty of those throughout the first half here at Wembley Stadium, second half, throughout the match so far, I should say, at Wembley Stadium. Oh, dear me. Oh. What's the panic? Anyway, corner kick. Sayuncu forward from the back. So too is Mendy as well. And Bertrand. I just wonder if we're going to see a goal action here as the ball is going to be threaded in from the far side. And here it comes towards the 6-yard area. Stefan with the punch comes out to Tillemans. And that was knocked away once more. And now a chance now for Mahrez on the break. And Mahrez has got away from Ndidi, or has he? Mahrez shoots and it's over the top. I think Ndidi just did enough to put him off his balance as he got towards the left of the D and did enough to put him off. And he's getting congratulations from all his colleagues because it was a breakout. And Mahrez took it from halfway here. Goes to the left and it's, well, in the end, it was too high in the end. I just think if he'd had a touch more pace than he did 2 or 3 years ago, he would have gone straight on Kasper Schmeichel's goal. Certainly, he would have gone straight in on goal as he did in his Leicester days, so all those years ago. But he was force-ride by Wilfred Ndidi, who just kept pace with him. And not many people keep up with Riyad Mahrez. You look at the pace of the guy. He's an absolute speed freak, if you like. And Schmeichel now takes the goal kick, right-footed. Over the halfway line it goes. Header one there by a Manchester City head, but it's a throw into Leicester. 15 yards inside the half, inside the Manchester City half. Bertrand to take it. Going up towards an hour played then of this second half on JB Sports, JDAC Football, I should say. I was calling it JDAC Sports the other night. Storm FN YouTube channel and the Commentary Hub 2 Commentary HUD, and also we're on Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. Here's the shot from Madison. With that footage, something like 30 yards out, almost from an identical spot as Tillerman scored the cup final winning goal back in May. But unlike Tillerman's, Madison just scuffing it wide, and I think Stefan may have had that effort covered anyway, so not that it would have mattered in the grand old scheme of things. And of course, we will want your opinions as well on who will be the man of the match. And of course, that's this, of course, as in the Euros, is sponsored, of course, by the commentary services. We've got a comment there, some great commentary. Thank you very much indeed. I don't know who that was. I couldn't really tell, but some great commentary there. It's one of the many comments that we're getting at the moment, and that's good to see. Right, back to the game, and it's Riyad Mahrez receiving it on the right-hand side. He plays a little bit ball in there towards Ferran Torres, but again, good covering back there from Ricardo Pereira, and it's a corner kick. It's terrific stuff. No goals, I'm sad to report, but please, I'm delighted in a way that the game now is still living up to everybody's expectation. These are two good attacking sides. They certainly haven't let us down with their attacking intent. It's not been a dull 0-0 by any stretch. We're still just shy of half an hour to try and find a goal from somewhere. Corner kick to Manchester City. Gundogan's going to take it from the far side. Are we going to see a breakthrough here at Wembley Stadium? Here comes the corner. Headed away by Leicester. Only as far as Mahrez strikes it, deflects, and wide again behind for another corner. Just to the left of the goal. So Pep Guardiola sitting there anxiously hoping and praying amongst anything now that there'll be a goal in the offing here. Gundogan comes over to the far side, puts the corner on the quadrant. We'll go out to take the corner from the far side. 0-0 at Wembley Stadium if you're listening to us across all our participating platforms this season. Corner kick then, and I just saw an Algerian flag as the corner comes into the penalty area towards Diaz. Again, it comes out to Mahrez, about 25 yards from goal, just miscontrolled it and had to go back to Mendy. Mendy hits the ball forward, and that's a good ball towards Gundogan, controlled it nicely. And now a chance inside the area, a little chip forward, and a chance there for Aki going forward. And knocked away there by Ndidi. Fernandinho going in there with the chest, did really well. Still 0-0, amazingly here in this Community Shield, and it's been a good watch for a 0-0. It's been a great watch. And here goes the young lad, Adozi, who looks a really impressive young lad, a fantastic player of his own steam. Mike reckons it will be Grealish time shortly. Well, we'll have to wait and see. As the ball now comes forward, and it's with Chancellor finding Nathan Aki. Remember, you can use anything up to 6 substitutes. The ball's been put out of play. And we've got a player down injured. And it's the young number 53, Edozie, who's down. I wonder if it's just maybe an hamstring or a bit of cramp there. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Jack Grealish has been given some instructions there by Pep Guardiola, incidentally. Looks like he is going to take part in the Community Shield. The man who impressed so much for so many years at Aston Villa. We're also going to see another substitute come on in just a second. So there are going to be substitutions happening left, right, and centre now. This is where everything starts to go into the round. They're all taking a drinks break whilst Adozzi's being attended to for his injury. So we might see substitution central here at this point in time. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0 is the score. We've just got a break in play. That's why there's no up and happy commentary at the moment. There's Jack Grealish putting his shirt on. So he's going to make his first ever appearance in a Manchester City shirt, getting a good look from one of the other substitutes there. So Jack Grealish about to come on for Manchester City, his full competitive debut. Just doing his final warm-ups, tying up his shoelaces, and the Manchester City fans are absolutely buzzing for this young man. £100 million, a world record transfer fee they paid for him. Will he be worth the money? Well, we'll find out in the next sort of 9 months or so. Meanwhile, we've got another substitution to sort out first, as well as Grealish's. Gundogan has come on, and Ndozi has come on. And the players are going to come up. Rodri's the one that's coming on for Manchester City, and Jack Grealish will replace Edozie as well. So Rodri on, and Jack Grealish now replaces Edozie. And that's the start of substitution central now, because we're going to get quite a lot of substitutions in the next sort of 25 minutes or so. And quite a lot of writing down for yours truly to get through as well. So the ball not forward, and as Mike Harneman, one of my colleagues, Harneman, quite clearly pointed out, he's now amongst the he's now on the field, and his predictions are never far wrong, Mark. And you'll be able to hear his dulcet tones for the first time on the commentary hub on Friday evening, as Brentford are the visitors, or Arsenal are the visitors to the new Brentford Stadium. Brentford against Arsenal. Brentford's first top flight fixture for around about 60 odd years, and we'll have it live on Friday night for you. Mike Harneman will be joined in the commentary box by former Arsenal and Middlesbrough man Justin Hoyt, who was an absolute star for us at the recent European Championships. Pleasure to work with him, and a great guy as well. You'll be able to hear them too on Friday night, 8 o'clock kickoff on JB Sports and Commentary Hub 2, and Periscope and all that. Well, the cross comes in from the left-hand side from Harvey Barnes, and a goal kick to Manchester City. It was I don't think it was intended actually as a shot from Harvey Barnes. Would have took some doing that. Although it was a bit of a dangerous moment there for Stefan, who just had to dive across to his left as he looked at it to make sure nothing untoward happened there. So we've had well over 20 minutes of the second half. We've got just shy of 25 to go. Maybe if it ends a draw, we have a penalty competition to decide who wins the Shield. But I've got a good feeling that we're going to see a goal in the next sort of 25 minutes, and let's hope so. We don't even want to see the Charity Shield lost on penalties, do we? So let's hope for the best. Let's hope anyway. So we've got just shy of 20 minutes to go then at Wembley Stadium. Halfway through the second half, here's Grealish on the ball, gets it back to Ake. Ake now gets it out to the far side. Good football this from Manchester City. Mendy now takes the ball and plays it on towards Jack Grealish. Takes on Ndidi. Grealish muscled out a bit, and it will be a throw-in. And still, we await the first goal with bated breath. This is Cancelo now for Manchester City. Ball play forward towards Fernandinho. Fernandinho turns, and the shot comes in, or the attempted ball towards Grealish comes in. Schmeichel cuts it out. Hopefully the fresh legs will make a bit of a difference. Grealish, of course, had a week of pre-season training at Villa Park. And if he can come in and make a bit of an impact in this next sort of 22 minutes plus stoppage time, then I think Manchester City fans will be very happy with their very new acquisition. £100 million. Myself and John Kane were talking about how transfer fees have bloomed. It's like nearly 100 years since the first £1,000 footballer out of common. Of course, 1974 was the first £1 million player worldwide. That was Johan Cruyff. First £1 million player in Britain was Trevor Francis, 1979. And of course, we've had £2 million footballers and all that. 15 million, of course, famously for Alan Shearer. Here is the £100 million man, Grealish on the ball, running inside. Grealish now trying to take on all comers as well as 6 Leicester City defenders. And in the end, he ran out of room to which to try and dig out a cross, and it's gone into the arms of Schmeichel. But Grealish now just showing a flash of the genius that has persuaded Pep Guardiola to spend £100 million on. It's raining very heavily now at Wembley Stadium. Pep Guardiola, not perturbed by that, still there in his white t-shirt, short-sleeved, of course, with his slacks on. Very casual dresser amongst football managers. when I first started watching football some 35 years ago, managers in those days, like Big Ron Atkinson, would have sheepskin coats on, and Jury, and Christ knows that what else one. How times have changed in styles amongst football managers over that period of time. And Mike has just pointed out to me that there will be a triple substitution coming up for Leicester in a few moments, and I've just seen activity on the bench. Meanwhile, Jack Grealish has, Palmer, has the ball, and Tielemans has tackled him. So this is where it all gets a little bit confusing now. I'm trying to make sense of it all. So triple substitution, we're going to see Albrighton on. Albrighton definitely. In fact, it's not a triple, it's a quadruple substitution. Samare is going to come on as well. So Perez is going to come off. And Mark Albrighton will come on. That's the first one I can confirm to you. So Perez is off. Vardy is also off as well for Leicester. Jamie Vardy is definitely off. And we're going to see Daka come on for him. So that's the second change. So Daka is on. And then we're going to see number 22, Dewsbury Hall, replace James Maddison. Are you keeping up with me here? So Dewsbury Hall on. And Yuri Tielemans replaced by Samari number 42. So I think you. There we are. 4 substitutions. I hope you've kept up at home. So there we are. I've confirmed all 4 substitutions, and here Samari on the ball straight away. Oh my word! My notes are going to be all over the place. I'm going to show a picture of my notes to everybody on Twitter a little bit later on, just to show how cockeyed it's all been. The notes of the 2 teams, incidentally, the referees and all the stats don't matter too much. But so City have made 2 changes out there, allotted 6, and Leicester have made 4 out of their allotted 6, and we're still 19 minutes to go. And I think we're seeing a bit more activity down on the Manchester City bench by the looks of it as well. Here's Jack Grealish now from Palmer's pass. Takes on a couple of all-comers. Back to Palmer again. Far side. Palmer now. Can he dig out a good cross? He can. But it's knocked away. And indeed, he knocks it forward. And now we're going to see an all-new strike force now. Daka will play up front by the looks of it. Vardy will be kicking himself with missed chances. And the flag has stayed down, I think, against Ferran Torres. Out came Schmeichel. And Ferran Torres, I think, may have just hurt him there. Schmeichel wasn't impressed. Torres did apologise, to be fair. Definitely onside as the ball was played. So if we did go to VAR, it would have been interesting. I think Torres had every right to go for the ball. Great goalkeeping, it has to be said, from Kasper Schmeichel there. But to be bluntly honest, I don't think Schmeichel had a just cause to complain. Ferran Torres had every right, in my opinion, to go for that ball. So 17 minutes to go, plus any injury or stoppage time. And as things stand at the moment, we're looking at a penalty competition to decide the Community Shield. And I hope you're keeping up, everybody at home, with everything that's going on. We've had a total now of 6 substitutions, and we may well be seeing the 7th and 8th very, very shortly. In fact, we are now. Bernardo Silva is going to come on for City. He will be the 2nd substitution, and we're going to see that's Ferran Torres. So he's coming off. Are you keeping up? Ben Knight, number 96. Yes, 96. Ben Knight is going to come on. So he's the first one. The second one is Bernardo Silva, and Cole Palmer is the man coming off there. And so B Silva will come on for him there. So 4 substitutions apiece used by both Leicester and Manchester City now. Are you keeping up at home? I hope you are. Still 0-0 in case you were wondering. And still a good quarter of an hour still to go of the Community Shield match. Been an interesting game in a lot of retrospect. Anyway, here's number 42 now. Number 42 is Solmare. Solmare gets the ball forward. So still 0-0. Chances here now. Dewsbury Hall is in short supply. Dewsbury Hall now gets his first touch. Try to say that quickly. 0-0 here in the Community Shield. It's been played really well. I have to say both teams have really gone for it. It's just that both goalkeepers and a little bit of wayward finishing from both sides has been a crucial factor in why we're still at 0-0 at this stage with a quarter of an hour left to play. But I have to say, in the main, it's been a really terrific watch. And some good football play, some good skills, some nice sparky moments that have really got the fans on the edge of their seats. And it's not been dull by any stretch of the imagination. It's been a good game to watch, but still no breakthrough. Are we going to see a goal maybe in the last quarter of an hour that just could decide it all? And here's Bernardo Silva. He's certainly one man that can unpick a defence. Remember the last time these two teams met at Wembley in a major match, 1969 FA Cup final. Bernardo Silva round the back, inside the penalty area. Grealish waits as well. And Bernardo pulls it back. He goes behind everybody, in fact, and wasn't a very good ball by the newcomer there, Bernardo Silva. But here he is now on the ball. Grealish offering a bit of an overlap on the far side should he choose. He goes in field. Chancellor now has possession. Chancellor now out to the far side. He finds Mendy. Mendy now to Grealish. Now this is where he's going to make that count. And the offside flag, I think, was up there. It was. And a throw-in it is to Leicester City, in fact. Well, it's been an interesting 76 minutes or so here at Wembley this afternoon. Still no sign of what's going to happen now in this game. Bertrand is going to take the throw in. He's had a pretty decent competitive debut from coming in from Southampton. Bertrand then with the throw. Long one it is. Indeed he is there. Not forward once more, and Grealish now takes possession. Grealish now running at all comers. Comes to the ball back, and Grealish is there too, out on the edge of the area. Referee Tierney says no foul. Grealish made a bit of meal of it, and a chance now for Decker, and out came Stefan, who's had quite a second half in comparison to the first. And here's Rodri in possession. Rodri out to the far side, still 0-0. Bernardo Silva now running with the ball now for Manchester City, and the cross in there towards the back post. Mahrez was lurking. Still not away yet. Fernandinho challenging hard. And out for a throw into Manchester City. Midway inside the Leicester half. Now what's he giving here? And I think the referee stopped it again. I think there's going to be another change. Yeah. Off comes Brian Bertrand. Number 2 substitutions here. And being overworked in his second half. So Bertrand is off. That is a given. And Luke Thomas is going to come on. Number 33. He broke into the first team last season. And who's the second player coming off and coming on? Barbie Barnes is the second player coming off. And this is their final change. And in his place, Iheanacho will come on. Kenichi Iheanacho. So Iheanacho takes Harvey Barnes' place. It's very difficult to keep up with these subs, but all 6 subs are being used now by Leicester, 4 by Manchester City. They still have another 2 aces to play in later on in the second half, which has got 12 minutes still to run. Free kick to Leicester, 10 yards from halfway. Fouled by number 96, Knight. And well, I've certainly earned my corner this second half with having to jot down notes and grass knows what else. Coming up afterwards here this evening, John Kane will be in the presenter's chair, and Luke Brusby will be your man in the box for the clash at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Birmingham City under the managership of Lee Bowyer. The game at Bramall Lane, the championship game at Bramall Lane, kicks off at 8. We'll be on the air just before kick-off to bring you the action as well. And I've got to try and find a man of the match at the moment. And I've got one or two candidates in mind. I think Stefan's going to be up there. And I think Harvey Barnes has had a pretty good game as well. But at the moment, those are my two outstanding ones so far. Still 0-0 though, as the ball is played out to Chancellor. Chancellor now, good ball now. Can't find Knight. Good defending there by Amati. And already, indeed, he now tricked by Bernardo Silva, who says, sorry, mate. And we'll get on with the game. Still not here as Dewsbury Hall comes away, finds Old Brighton down the left-hand side. Old Brighton looking to knock the ball forward towards Daka, but he can't be found. And now Manchester City have possession again with Riyad Mahrez, who hasn't stopped running. He has caused a little bit of problems, but he has missed a couple of opportunities. That's young Dewsbury Hall, another graduate of the Leicester City Academy. That's a nice ball out towards the far side, kept in nicely there by Mendy. Got 10 minutes plus time added on to play. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us here at Wembley Stadium. Are we going to see a thrilling finish to this game at this moment in time? Still 0-0 as things stand at the moment. 10 minutes to play. And we've got a very interesting end now to this football game. Thomas to take the throw then for Leicester. Of course, if it still ends a draw, we go to a penalty competition to decide. And of course, we'll bring you the presentation at the end as well of the shield to whoever is victorious on the day. And good football this by Samari, and draws the free kick. And back to the olden days where feet are flying in left, right, and centre to try and grab a piece of the ball here. So it looks as if, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we're going to have a penalty shootout, unless a goal is going to be scored in the next sort of 5 or 10 minutes. And it's going to be hooked away by Mendy. And players are going down left, right, and centre here at the moment. And City now trying to play with a ball, but that's a bad ball. Darker picks the ball up, not Saka. Here's Salisbury Hall. Salisbury Hall back in field to Ndidi. Good football there again, but can't find Iheanacho, the former Manchester City man. And now City are on their way again, and it's Riyad Mahrez. But he's just been pushed out towards the right-hand side a little bit there. Good defending there by Luke Thomas. And here is Chancellor now for Manchester City. Back to Fernandinho now. Chancellor, Rodri. On to Ake now. Far side it goes. Right to left flank. This is Grealish. Grealish coolly back to Mendy. Does the right sensible thing. Sometimes just playing the basics always helps a little bit. Here's Ake now on halfway for Manchester City. Coming up towards the end of what's been a really entertaining Community Shield game, which has yet to yield a goal, but there's still 7 minutes for one moment of pure genius to win the Shield. Ball knocked over towards Daka, but he's been nuzzled out of it again. And now a chance now, but both teams now putting some really tired looking passes at the moment. And here's Old Brighton on the ball now for Leicester. And that was a poor ball intended for Dewsbury Hall, I should say. And he lost it straight away. Mahrez now looking extremely tired. I'm just glancing towards the two benches. I can't see any activity at the moment from Manchester City's bench. They have put on some of their bigger names. And Doyle, Gomez and Couto are the only ones, and Carson are the only four at the moment have not been used by Manchester City. Has a chance here. Oh, good goalkeeping again from Stefan. He came out and Daka was clean through, and Stefan read it well. Perilously close to the edge of the area. He was still inside the area, and he spread himself well. And I think that might just win him the Man of the Match award. That's 6 marvellous pieces of goalkeeping that I can think off the top of my head that Stefan has made. He's certainly kept City in the contention here. Here's Grealish on the ball. Picks out Bernardo Silva. Still 0-0. And remarkably, and Leicester could have won this game purely and simply out of the sight if it wasn't for the heroics of the goalkeeper, the Manchester City goalkeeper, who's odds on, in my opinion, to win our first Man of the Match award of the new season. The ball chipped out the new English season, I should say, here on the commentary of JB Sports. The Man of the Match, of course, sponsored by Barry Swain's excellent commentary services company. As the cross comes in, and it's knocked away only as far as Mahrez, left-hand side. Back to Chancellor. Plenty of Leicester players back. Grealish is there at the back post, hovering. Grealish now trying to take it down. A chance inside the penalty area, and it was Knight who tried to take it down, and it straight into the arms of Schmeichel. And well, I'm gonna make sure. Well, there's still about 4 minutes to go, John, and we'll confirm in about 89 minutes. But he's certainly the favourite at the moment. Got 6 or 7 saves. It's sure you've got to look at him seriously as a man in a match contender. Anyway, here's the ball knocked back once more by Thomas, back to Schmeichel, who hasn't really had many saves to make in comparison. He did make that super save in the first half to deny Gundogan from a free kick, but apart from that, nothing much else he's had to do. When you look at the other goalkeeper at the other end, Stefan, he's made some remarkably good saves. Still 0-0 as the ball is knocked forward now by Samari into the path of Kenichi and Iheanacho. How he'd love to put one on his former players. Throw in to Leicester City. 4 minutes remaining of the Community Shield, and it's increasingly looking like a penalty shootout at the moment. And it has been one of the most remarkable games you'll see without a goal being scored. But can Grealish and co now, or somebody from Leicester? But there's a mistake, and indeed it's in. And what's happened here? Penalty given. A penalty's been given for Leicester. There was a foul inside the penalty area. Paul Tierney has given a penalty kick. It was a foul on Iheanacho inside the penalty area, and Leicester have a chance to win it. It was Aki there dawdling on the ball, and Aki there brings him down, and that is a penalty kick. VAR will check it, but I think that's a clear and obvious penalty. Aki loses possession, clearly trips the back of his thigh. Really ridiculous play there, and that shows that's really showed up Aki there. And I think it has to be a penalty. The yellow card's being brandished now, and the behaviour of City players is, I'm afraid, disgraceful. In a game up until now that's been played in a terrific spirit. Mike agrees with me, definite pen, and I don't think there's much doubt about that. It's a pen, and it's Aki's own fault. It's Aki's own fault here, because if he doesn't dawdle on the ball, none of this actually happens. Ridiculous. VAR will have checked it, but I can't see them overturning this one for absolutely sure. And Manchester City are furious, but it's a clear-cut penalty. I can't see what just cause they've got. And the penalty now will be given. Can Leicester, the FA Cup holders, win the Shield? Stefan there. Very curious shirt looking font. It reminds me of the graphics for Blockbusters back in the 1980s. But anyway, back to the present day. And Iheanacho, the former Manchester City man, has a chance now to bury his former club from 12 yards. Left-footed. Stefan, who's pulled off some heroics this afternoon. Can he pull off the big heroics some more and save it? It's going to be tough now as Iheanacho steps up and scores into the top right-hand corner. The top right-hand corner, I should say. And Leicester City going front. Stefan guessed the right way. Think he might have got a slight glove on it, but no more. But it doesn't matter. Leicester lead 1-0. And looking at Brendan Rodgers there on the monitor, you would think he just lost the Shield rather than almost win it. But a great penalty, and it looks as if the Foxes are going to win the Shield again, possibly for the very first time ever. There's the penalty, and Stefan so near to getting there near it. Read it well, and he got a little glove on it, as I suspected he might have done. but he could only push it into the top right-hand corner. And looks as if it's going to be Leicester City's day at Wembley today. And I think Mike Harneman was probably right at half-time. It was going to be a one goal either or, and it looks as if it's going Leicester City's way at the moment. So 1-0. 1-0 at the moment. And City deserve what they got there. They did absolutely deserve. Sorry about that. Just had a technical problem, but we're back now. So Fernandinho was booked for yellow card as the ball is now going towards the penalty area. Leicester now trying desperately to defend. Just had a technical fault there, so apologies to anyone who may have. Now we're into stoppage time. We haven't had any indication from the fourth official 4 added minutes, but terrific finish here to the game. Definite penalty, that's for sure. And Leicester leading 1-0 as the ball is pumped into the penalty area, and Thomas trying not to touch it, and he didn't in the end. A goal kick to Leicester, but Nathan Aki, what was he thinking of? What on earth was he thinking of there? It was a terrific penalty, and Pep Guardiola will be cursing his luck. Fernandinho really shouldn't have protested in the way that he did. And it was never anything. There was never any doubt it was a penalty. Myself and Mike called it right. And at the full time, we'll get John Kane and Mike Harneman's comments on the second half. And the comment, but a little bit of consolation for Stefan, who was the beaten goalkeeper. He will be the man in the match, purely and simply on the basis he made 6 magnificent world-class saves. So the man in the match, sponsored by Commentary Services, goes to the Manchester City number 13, the goalkeeper Stefan. So a little bit of a consolation prize for him on a day where he'll probably end up on the losing side, but he's played really well and was very unlucky not to save that penalty there from Kenichi Iheanacho. But it looks as if a penalty is going to decide it all today. So Stefan is our man of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services, and that's purely and simply because of the super saves he made earlier on in the day. To deny Jamie Vardy, a top quality goal scorer, 5 times in one game is something really not to be sniffed at. And he's played really well and doesn't deserve nothing being put past him, because he's played magnificently well. But City have possession. 2 minutes have been played of stoppage time. In fact, we've had nearly 2.5 minutes. Mahrez now has possession. Picks out the ball now into the penalty area. City players are forward. The white shirts are up. Aki now trying to make it men's race. He goes down. The referee looks at it and says no penalty. And Schmeichel has possession. And it looks as if it's going to be Leicester City's day, as it was 2.5 months ago in the FA Cup final. That day it was won by a sensational goal against Chelsea by Yuri Tillemans, a goal of real pure genius. Today, it was a penalty gifted to them by Nathan Aki, which might just win the day here. And it looks as if Leicester are going to get the first bit of silverware of the brand new season, the curtain raiser, the FA Community Shield. Looks as if it's going Leicester City's way. Here's Schmeichel now, right-footed, kicks long. Don't forget, stay with the Commentary Hub and JB Sports and JDAC Football if you're a subscriber to that channel. Storm FM YouTube channel, Commentary Hub 2, Periscope, Twitter and Twitch after this game, because John Kane and Liam Brudsby in the commentary box will bring in full commentary of Sheffield United against Birmingham City in the Championship, our first Championship match of the season, and it's from Bramall Lane. And of course, tomorrow we've got Fulham against Middlesbrough with Russ Burden, and then at 4:30 tomorrow we've got Nicholas Jones doing the commentary on a Midlands derby between Coventry City and Nottingham Forest. 4 seconds of stoppage time to play in the Community Shield, and the West Midlands and a number of the West Midlands, East Midlands clubs, Leicester City, are going to be rejoicing again in the streets of Leicester, just as they did in May, because they're going to have the Community Shield to the FA Cup. And what an achievement it's going to be for them as the whistle sounds. Leicester City win the Community Shield. Nice sporting handshake from Pep Guardiola and a nice little pat on the back for Brendan Rodgers from Pep Guardiola. Brendan Rodgers triumphs again at Wembley just as he did 2.5 months ago. The winning penalty came after 88 minutes, scored by Kenichi Iheanacho. He beat our man of the match, Stefan, from the penalty spot. Stefan, in fact, earlier on in the game had made 5 world-class saves to deny the same player, Jamie Vardy. But it's Leicester City's day. They take the shield. And the FA Cup holders, yet again, prove recent history right and beat the Premier League champions. But this will not make or break anyone's season. Let's not make any bones about that. The real hard work will start from next week onwards. But what a confidence booster for Leicester as well. Leicester, of course, a defeat on debut for Jack Grealish, although he only had about half an hour. But he showed some glimpses of what he was all about. Whether he's under £1 million or not, that remains to be seen. But what has been seen here today, that Leicester City, again, with another piece of silverware. They won the Premier League 7 years ago. They won the FA Cup earlier on this season, and now they'll take the shield. I'm just going to break off for about 5 minutes as the chairman of Leicester absolutely thrilled to bits. He's smiling. So as the podium has been set up for a couple of minutes, let me go hand back to John Kane, who's with Mike Arneman. With Leicester winning the shield by 1-0, and I'll be back in 5 minutes for the presentation. But until then, John and Mike will take over from there. Mike.
Thank you very much, JB.
Cheers.
And yes, it's finished the game with Leicester lifting the first trophy of the season, the Charity Shield, after beating Manchester City by 1-0. Came through Iheanacho, one of the so many subs that we've seen in this game. And JB, God bless him, he literally was hard work. And I'm sure I'm going to suffer from that. And all of us are going to see the 6 substitutes coming in, especially if they're coming in all at one go. But congratulations to Leicester. A bad luck for Manchester City, but I'm sure we're going to see Manchester City winning a trophy or two, aren't we, Mike, in this season?
100%. I do see them being up there, challenging for the title once again. Probably challenging for the FA Cup, Champions League as well. They'll be there or thereabouts in a lot of the competitions. But yeah, it's Leicester's day. And, I called it at half time, didn't I? I said it would be won by Leicester City by 1-0 as well. When, I didn't see it being a penalty kick. But totally, as I said in the comments there, and as JB said as well, can't argue with that at all. It's 100% a definite penalty kick for me. And that's what happens when, Nathan Ake just caught dawdling on the ball like that. And then, it's a good opportunity for Leicester there from the spot. Decent penalty. Zach Steffen had a blinder and I think rightly deserved his man of the match award as well for his performance. And it's a shame for him to be on the losing side. But, of course, even the penalty, he got a hand on that as well. But in terms of the result and, the performance of Leicester, I think it is a deserved victory for them.
Absolutely. I mean, both teams did try for it. I think probably Man City probably just ate it as far as possession and shots on goal. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's the scoreline that really counts. And even though this came through a penalty, but that's the name of the game. You make mistakes. And it was a bad mistake from Ake. I mean, I have to agree with JB on this. We've seen Ake being a bit sloppy at times, especially when his days at Bournemouth. And I've always been surprised on why he ended up at Manchester City. That's only my personal opinion. And moments like this, it does sort of justify my feelings on why does he play in a big club like that. But it was a clear penalty, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, 100%. I said it at the time, and I said it just a moment ago as well. For me, definite penalty kick there, and you can't argue with that. Nathan Ake, and I think it was Fernandinho got a yellow card as well for his protestations towards the referee there, and I'm not too sure what his sort of complaints were because it was a definite penalty. Nathan Ake, as I said, was dawdling on the ball and then caught in possession, and then it's definite penalty for me. And then from there, I probably did expect Leicester to score. I'm just looking at it again now. It's definite, see it there with Iheanacho being fouled, just seeing the replay. And then the penalty kick, Zach Steffen got a hand to it. And then, of course, he was put into the back of the net by Iheanacho. And I did want to touch on his celebration as well. I thought that was a lovely touchy celebration there. A lot of these players, last season were playing without fans, and he really, in his celebration there, went over and he sort of worshipped the fans and sort of praised the fans and thanked the fans there in his celebration by just bowing down and putting his arms down in front of them. So there's a lovely touch from him on his celebration as well.
We can't miss out on Jack Grealish, obviously introduction, making his debut for Manchester City. What did you make of the 20 minutes or so from the ex-Villa man?
Yeah, he showed glimpses. There was moments in that 20-25 minutes that he was on the field that he, was getting at the Leicester City back line and causing a few issues. And that's, I think, this is his first game in a Manchester City shirt. Of course, his first game since the Euros as well. So yeah, there was glimpses there. I'm sure Man City fans will be quite excited about some of the things that they've seen. Everyone knows what Jack Grealish is about. He will be one of the most, if not the most fouled players in the Premier League again this season. And that will really help in terms of winning set pieces and, free kicks, etc. But no, I think, there were certainly glimpses about his performance. I think there's bright sparks there. And yeah, for an opening sort of cameo, it was okay. It was pretty good, really, yeah.
And I think JB rightly so chose our man of the match, which is sponsored by the commentary services for the Manchester City goalkeeper, Zachary Stefan, which is has to be said. I mean, yes, he was on a losing team, as we all been mentioning, but at the end of the day, he had a fantastic game. And as JB mentioned, when you actually have 5 big saves from Jamie Vardy, you have to be top right on the top there, aren't you?
100%, and of course, that's going to be good competition for Pep Guardiola as well this season, knowing that they have got a really, really good number 2 there. Of course, Ederson will be the number 1. Everyone knows that, but Zach Stefan there, is a very adequate and very good number 2 as well. And will certainly come in when needed and do a really, really good job. And if he performs anywhere as good as he has today, then he's certainly going to challenge Ederson for the number 1 even as well.
Absolutely. Actually, funny enough, I was looking through the Leicester team sheet to see if there's any ex-Spurs players who actually been on that team who actually just won another trophy. But luckily, no, there isn't any ex-Spurs players who left Spurs to win a trophy. But it's been a great performance from Leicester. They stood their ground throughout the game, and they've done themselves proud. And let's not forget, they have won the FA Cup last season as well. It was a brilliant game, one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life, to be fair. And the ones exciting ones when they beat Chelsea by 1-0. And Leicester have to be definitely in the top 6, aren't they? I mean, we talked about the Super League and all that stuff, but surely they have to be in the top 6. I'll come back to you, Mike, after that. Let's just go back to JB now and for the presentation. JB.
Yes, it's just a few seconds away. They're just going through the winning penalty moment again. That challenge there from Aki. The shield is ready. The medals are ready. They'll pick them up themselves. We're just watching that penalty going there from the substitute Iheanacho. And I have to echo what the lads have just said. It was a definite penalty. There's no doubt about that. There's a great grim there from Kasper Schmeichel, who was a hero in defeat some 3.5 weeks ago when Denmark played England in that European semi-final. But there is Brendan Rodgers. And you've got to say, at the end of the day, folks, that he has done a magnificent job. He's carried on where Claudio Ranieri left off. I know they had Claude Perrault and Greg Shakespeare before that, after Ranieri had gone. But to pick up where Claude Perrault left off, and they were a club that were really in mid-table, sometimes fighting relegation, certainly after they won the league. And now the players will come forward to receive their medals. Brighton leads them towards there. No Royal Box presentation again this time. They'll get their medals, and then Kasper Schmeichel at the back of the queue. There's James Maddison picking up his medal. Yuri Tillemans, no winning goal for him today, but a fine performance from him. And they're all kissing their medals, not choking them away like the England players did some 3 weeks ago when Italy beat them in the European Championships. So Youngchu starts the season off there. Dewsbury Hall gets his medal. He walks straight past the medals. Some of the substitutes that didn't get on, Chowdhury and Jamie Vardy, of course. And then Kasper Schmeichel. What a hero he's been. Brendan Rodgers will pick up his medal as well. And Kasper Schmeichel will receive the FA Community Shield. A terrific captain. Lifted the FA Cup in May after an heroic display against Chelsea. He didn't have to do too much in the way of goalkeeping heroics today. He grabs the shield with his medal round his neck. Brendan Rodgers has received his medal as well. They come up now, the bubbly and the champagne will start flowing. He's calling everybody that wasn't involved, even the players that he couldn't even get in the squad today. And the champagne is flowing, and Kasper Schmeichel lifts the Community Shield aloft. And Leicester City win the first major honour of the season, the FA Community Shield, and their fans, you must admit, are cock-a-hoop. Terrific performance. They were absolutely brilliant first half without breaking them down. Stefan, our man of the match, sorted out as Manchester City make their way off disappointed. But they'll be back. No doubt they'll be back and ready to go for the start of the season a week today. But a terrific performance from Leicester City. Worthy winners in the end, even though they needed a penalty in the last couple of minutes of normal time to win it. They take the Community Shield and take it for the first time ever. Winners over Manchester City by 1-0. And that is it from me this afternoon. I'm going to hand you back to John Kane and Mike Harneman. But the news here at Wembley Stadium is that Leicester City win the Community Shield. I'm off to have a lie down. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the game that's coming up for you from the Championship as well. But for now, for the rest of this broadcast, it's back to the studio and to Mike Harneman and to John Kane with the news that Leicester City are the 2 Community Shield champions for 2021. Back to you, lads.
Thank you very much, JB, and fantastic commentary today. Very much well done from JB Sports. Of course, throughout the commentary hub and with our associations with JDAC Football, JB Sports, Storm FM, and a few others, which I'm sure Mark Hanman will remind me of. Mike, sorry, we were talking about the Leicester performance today. It's been very good performance, very solid performance. They're winning one trophy after the other. I know people say it's a Community Shield, but a trophy is a trophy. And look at that. We saw how lovely that celebration was from all the players. And you think some of them will say, I'm bigger than that. No, even players like Jamie Vardy and all that, they're all happy to be celebrating and winning a trophy. And that means something, isn't it, for the fans, especially nowadays?
Yeah, 100%. And, JB touched on it just a moment ago when the presentation was being done as well. Now, this is a really good, positive time for Leicester at the moment. Of course, winning the league back in 2016, I believe it was, and then also winning the FA Cup last season, and then starting off with a trophy now as well, the start of the 2021-2022 campaign. And I thought, they were a very good value for their win as well. When, as you mentioned, or the question, going back to the actual original question as well, about Leicester being up there and challenging for the top 6, yeah, I think they'll certainly be. I can see them breaking into the top 6 and, even challenging for top 4 probably as well. Yeah.
I mean, looking over the last 2-3 seasons, Mike, and we've seen the struggles of Spurs, Arsenal, and Villa, and a few others. But at the same time, we've seen I know they won the league in 2016, but the team with the size of Leicester, with the budget of Leicester, it's very hard trying to compete with the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City to win the league again. But from all these teams I've mentioned, which sadly mine is one of them, and Leicester are probably the much better equipped team and more stable team than Spurs, Arsenal, Villa combined.
Yeah, 100%. I've got to agree with that as well. When you look at, Tottenham, you look at Arsenal. Tottenham, you don't know what the Harry Kane situation is. Arsenal, have signed a couple of players, Ben White being obviously the standout one, and then a couple of sort of backup players or players that might play here and there, but not anything massive in particular, not going forward anyway. Aston Villa have now lost out on Jack Grealish, of course. He's now obviously moved to Man City and played today and had a pretty good 25 minutes or so that he was on as well. And, they are moving pretty boldly, though, Aston Villa in the transfer market. Don't get me wrong. They have obviously brought in the likes of Danny Ings and plenty of others as well who can certainly fill that void left by Jamie Vardy. But I do see Leicester actually have. Sorry, not Jamie Vardy. I mean Jack Grealish. Sorry, let me just correct myself there. But I think that Leicester City will be up there and challenging for the top 4 this season. Man City will no doubt go on and have a really good season yet again. But there'll be a surprise package as well, like West Ham last year, something like that. There always is.
Going back to this game, Mike, Pep Guardiola, obviously, he suffered his first defeat of the season in a trophy and, of course, in a football match, official football match. But the other day, both teams have used so many subs, haven't they? And we've seen so many youngsters, especially from the Manchester City side, with the likes of Cole, etc. Really, I mean, if they were taking it seriously, you probably wouldn't see too many. With all due respect to the youngsters, it's good to see them. But I think if Pep Guardiola was taking this game seriously, he probably would have started with more multi-million players than actually 2 or 3 players who played under 23 and under 18 teams last season.
Yeah, I understand that argument, but you'd also put in the argument that the Euros only finished a few weeks ago, and players like Raheem Sterling obviously have been given that extended holiday. Phil Foden was a big part of that England squad as well. So there's players in there that Man City would normally be at least having on the bench, if not starting, who have obviously been away and only just got back probably in the last couple of days from a major international tournament. Of course, there was it wasn't just the Euros either. There's been the Olympics is on. There's other, like, was it the Copa America, I think, it's been on, and there's been a lot of competitions on anyway where sort of a lot of players have been away at. So I think that's it's understandable as to why Pep Guardiola is giving a lot of these youngsters an opportunity. It's probably not ideal for him, but at the end of the day, to get ready for the league fixture against Tottenham next week is their main priority, really. So that's really, I suppose, the reason why they've done that.
Absolutely, and it'd be very interesting to see who Harry Kane will be playing for in his first game of the season. Will he be staying at Spurs or will he be wearing the Manchester City shirt? We'll wait and see. Of course, that game is one of the few games that will be bringing you live. After this game, we've got Sheffield United versus Birmingham City in about half an hour or so kickoff. And that's with Liam Brosby. I'll be coming back at 2:15 to present the game. Tomorrow, we've got Fulham versus Middlesbrough with our own commentator, Russ Vernon. And at 4:30, we've got Coventry versus Nottingham Forest, again from the Championship. And that's with Nicholas Jones. Of course, on Wednesday, we got the Chelsea versus Villarreal, which is going to be by one of the new commentators, Storm Safadry. And on Friday, it's the beginning of the Premier League. And our very own Mike Harneman, who's with me at the moment, I'll come back to him on this. He'll be taking us for the first game of the season at 8 o'clock on Friday the 13th. Funny enough, and that's between Brentford and Arsenal. Then on Saturday the 14th at 3 o'clock, we got Benfield versus Basingstoke Town with Nicholas Jones. Of course, as JB mentioned earlier, he'll be at the ground after getting permission, so that'd be fantastic to see Nicholas, and obviously he will bring us the game live, and you can hear the sound in the background will be the sound of the Eisman League, which is fantastic to see on our channels. We literally hope to have as many people interested in as many leagues as possible. That is the beauty of football. It's not just a Premier League. It's not just a top flight. It's all throughout. And we're here to support all these smaller teams. And we're happy to have them to our channels. Later on that Saturday, we got Norwich versus Liverpool. That's again with Ross Vernon. And then on Sunday, we got the big clash. And I'll be commentating on that. And that is Tottenham versus Manchester City. And like I said, we don't know if Harry Kane is going to be. He probably will play. We just don't know what shirt he will play unless he's not fit to do so. Just before we finishing off, Mike, I'll come back to the first game of the season, which you're commentating on, Brentford versus Arsenal. Yes, Brentford are a newly promoted team, but it's not going to be easy on Arsenal playing away from home, especially now the fans are back. And Brentford, they've got something to prove, haven't they?
100%. London derby first game as well, which obviously is going to be a big thing for Brentford. So yeah, Brentford, they could actually go on and surprise people this season. They've got Ivan Toney up top, who of course is a really, really good goal scorer, proven in the Championship. And if he can continue that form from last season into the Premier League, then Ivan Toney could actually have a really good season, and that would help Brentford quite a lot. And we all know what Arsenal's sort of frailties and vulnerabilities at the back are like, and somebody like Ivan Toney, is somebody to certainly be wary of. Be interested to see whether Ben White starts or whether Ben White's on the bench for that game, whether he's thrown in straight away as well, and who he's alongside, whether that's Pablo Marie or somebody else, with Gabriel being out for the first 3 months of the season. And yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a really, really good game. Looking forward to coming back and working alongside Justin Hoyte again as well, who, as JB rightly mentioned, was a revelation and a real top pro. Pardon the pun. Obviously, he was an ex-pro anyway, but in terms of his commentary debut, he was a top pro on that side of things as well for everything that he did in the Euros. It'd be great to work with him again on Friday, and looking forward to it. As I said, I think it'd be nice to get back in the commentary box, get behind the mic, and give it a real good go again this season.
Absolutely, and of course, I forgot to mention that on this Thursday at 8 o'clock, we got the Commentary Hub Season Predictions podcast, which is going to be live, and that's going to have most of our commentators, and we should be very interesting to hear all these commentators with their own predictions for this coming season, if that was in Europe or in the Premier League. Mike Harriman, thank you very much for you being with us this afternoon, and we'll hope to see you on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Looking forward to Thursday as well with the podcast. That's going to be another great day. Great listen for everybody as well. Looking forward to the game in a little while from the Championship as well. I'll be keeping an eye across that and seeing how Liam does for his Commentary Hub debut as well. And then of course I'll be following the games tomorrow and just following them all through as much as I can now. So when my brother's actually at Fulham tomorrow lunchtime, so I'll keep an eye on that one to see. I'm sure I'll be watching it anyway, but I'll be getting updates from him because he's going with a couple of old uni mates and that. So yeah, going to be good. Looking forward to the next game and then going from there.
Thank you very much. That's Mike Hardiman, who of course will be with us on Thursday, and also he'll be taking on our first commentary game of this season this Friday, Brentford versus Arsenal in the English Premier League. Please join us again in about 15 minutes or so for Sheffield United versus Birmingham City with our own new commentator, Liam Busby. So join us shortly and stay tuned.